What's good? What's good? We are back. Yours truly, the one and only Paul Pickett, host of the Paul Pickett Podcast, aka Triple P, aka the Common Sense Podcast, your source for music, sports, politics, world events, and much, much more. Today, I got a guest in the building. Today, we got DWalk85. Thank you for coming through.
Appreciate you, man.
I'm gonna get to like basics questions always first. Where you from?
Well, I live in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Before that, I was in Elizabethtown, North Carolina.
Okay.
Before that, stayed a little bit in New Orleans, but before that, upstate New York.
Okay.
Originally from Newburgh.
So you were born in New York?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what part?
Newburgh.
Newburgh. Where's that?
Up by Poughkeepsie.
So like upstate?
Yeah.
Okay, because I actually have family in Ithaca.
Oh, you got family in Ithaca?
Yeah, that's where my grandmother's from, Ithaca, New York, upstate, like pig farms and stuff like that up there.
They had an apple orchard. We used to go there when I was a kid. When we was in first and kindergarten, first grade. They used to take us out there to the apple fields and stuff for the fall festival. Apple ciders. Shout out to Ithaca. Y'all got some fire apple cider.
Well, let's start with that. What was the hip hop influence? Like you didn't grow up in New York City, but you're in New York.
Mm-hmm.
Was the hip hop influence just really across the whole state like that?
For the most part, you know what I'm saying. In my neighborhood, you know what I'm saying. For the most part, it was. See, you know what I'm saying. Hip hop was that big atomic bomb that just spread it everywhere. So you know what I'm saying. We were the close proximity to the city. So once it hit in the city like that, and then you know what I'm saying, the Bronx is only about an hour or two away from my hometown.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of traffic up and down. Like a lot of my relatives, like my older cousins, stuff that they were matching with the first B-boys and going to those shows, and a couple of them came up here in Newburgh back in the day.
Okay.
So you know what I'm saying, it was always around, like always around. And I still kind of look at people weird when they can speak on a situation in their life where they didn't have hip hop around, because that's all I knew as a kid growing up.
And that was this a small town, Newburgh?
Yeah.
About how many people probably in this town?
Oh man, it's not a small town like Aberdeen or something like that with 3,000 people. It was a nice size.
Hope Mills size or bigger?
Oh, very about size, probably a little bigger than Hope Mills.
Okay.
You know, like if you live in the area, Newburgh is a well-known spot. You know what I'm saying, as well as Poughkeepsie. You know what I'm saying, and the Catskills. So, you know what I'm saying, it's nice. Look like they got a town in Newburgh, which is the suburban area, nice houses, neighborhoods, and everything. And then they got the city, and from the top of Broadway down, you know what I'm saying, it's a scene out of anything you've seen in any, you know what I'm saying, movie about New York City. Yeah. Newburgh looks like that as well.
Now, were you rapping at this point, or did you start rapping when you moved to like the Carolinas?
No, I've been rapping since I was 14.
Okay.
Like I said, the music and the culture has always been around me, and I've always loved it. I love all types of music, but hip hop was always something about hip hop that grabbed me first for anything else.
Was there a specific person at first that got you into it, like somebody that you saw at first and it was just like? Because for me, it was Heavy D and the Boys. I was actually listening to a lot of White Line, Def Leppard, Motley Crue, Guns N' Roses coming back from Panama and stuff, because it was no hip hop. And then I heard that Heavy D and the Boys, we got our own thing.
Yeah.
And then I really had to start taking notice to other artists. And Heavy D, if it wasn't for him being on like a pop radio station, I don't know if I would have got into hip hop around that time. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You want no specific artist for you, or
I mean,
I could say a group of artists or whatnot, maybe?
Well, it's always been a collection. Like the first group, my first favorite hip hop group, I was like 5. My first favorite hip hop group was Leaders of New School. My first favorite rapper was Busta Rhymes.
I have a cassette of Leaders of New School and that thing right there.
Oh man, I might need to borrow that off you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just something about Busta when I seen him. I love the whole group, but it was just something about the skinny dark dude in the middle with the hair and the way he would rap. And I was like, yo, that's my guy. And as I got older, you know, the 90s, you know, later 90s come in, you know, the Wu-Tang come in, and then you know what I'm saying. My dad was always a big West Coast fan.
Okay.
Like the first rap song I heard in my life was "Fuck the Police." My dad had the NWA tape.
Okay.
And you know what I'm saying, he had the Chronic and all those. So it was always just always a various joints of influences around me. So by the time I was 14, you know, I had dreams playing basketball, but I kind of
all did.
You know what I'm saying?
We all did.
Unlike most, I realized early that dream not gonna happen for multiple reasons. But I like writing. I can, you know what I'm saying? I would rap to myself, and not thinking I was rapping. I would just make my own version of songs I liked, and I was like, well, pretty all right. And then I recorded my cousin one day. Me and my bro recorded with him, and the first time I heard myself on that
Is
speaker,
this cassette days?
Cassette days. Matter of fact, he had a Fisher Price microphone. Put it to the, you know what I'm saying? Put it to his wall. Press record. Run his stereo all the way up, and just use old mixtape instrumentals. Like the first track I ever rapped on was the Myth Bleak Is. You know what I'm saying? That and the Rough Rider joints. So, like I said, when I heard the playback and I hear myself rapping, it wasn't good, but it was just like, yeah, this is what I need to write.
Were you doing ad libs then? Because I remember back in the days, our DJ used to have us record on cassette where we would rap over instrumental, and then we would take another cassette if we wanted to do ad libs over that, and then he would take that cassette where we recorded the ad libs and take that in and put in the scratches. So he would literally go through 3 cassettes, just the verse, the ad libs, and then the scratches. And the scratches was really what was hitting on our songs back then, because we thought we was the dopest thing on the planet back then, but we wasn't. We was still not there yet.
I wish we was like that, man. Look, bro, we were some poor lower caste kids from upstate New York. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, he had a Fisher Price junk on the corner, run the stereo up. We would freestyle, one take, and whether you messed up or not, it's just on the tape. You know what I'm saying? Like, we didn't know any better, but I wish we had it like that. Yeah. I promise you, if we had it like that, the trajectory of my career would have been totally different. Because that's that Def Jux Anaconda, that's that feeling. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That real hip hop aesthetic, and just hearing that makes me like, damn, I wish I had it like that. But nah, we wasn't like that.
Normally I ask people where they come up with their name, but I'm gonna guess real quick. Right. Your name's Daryl Walker. I'm gonna say you were born in 1985.
Yes, sir.
Okay. There you go.
Yes, sir.
That's how he came up with it. Because I was born in 79. I was sitting there thinking, DWalk85. I guarantee he was born in 1985.
Yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I mean, that's basically it, man. That's how I got my name.
You always had that name?
Nah.
When'd you come up with that name?
Oh man, I came with that name maybe about 4 or 5 years ago.
You had a rap name before that?
Oh, I had a bunch of names.
We all did, right? Yeah.
My first rap name was DW2K.
Wow.
Then I became Chokes.
Do
not ask me why I named myself that. And then next thing I know, I was a Wolverine because I'm a big Marvel fan and I was a big battle rapper. So try to match those 2 characters together.
Oh, we're actually going to get into that too later too. Since you brought up Marvel.
Oh yes.
Marvel's a controversial thing going on right now, So what kind of producers you work with? Any producers you work with that we know of?
True.
Now, who's making you beats right now?
We just find beats how we find beats. Like, sometimes I keep it real. Sometimes we still use YouTube beats. We do have some producers that rock with us, but they're not big name guys. We worked with some people. Shot Don Beats. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Now we know we worked with him. DJ Coda P, we've done music with him.
I've heard you're big on the Griselda sound.
Yes.
So typically that's the sound you're always going for?
That's not I wouldn't say just like I get in mind like go for Griselda sound. I'm a more versatile and my style is more versatile on that. It's just that hits me more home at this present time.
Yeah.
Just that whole aesthetic and I like a lot of people was missing that sound for so long, and to get something like that, we just jumped to a champion to it. But you know what I'm saying? That's not the first version, but like you know what I'm saying? To be honest, you go on the internet, there's a lot of Griselda like beats and
a lot of them. Ton of Benny Butcher like beats, Griselda like beats.
So
is that actually considered the Buffalo sound? Do they consider that the Buffalo sound?
I wouldn't know because I wouldn't know. I've talked to CG, CG who done beats for Westside Gun and them. Actually he did the beat for I don't know if you're big on Westside Gun, but he did Broadway Joe's.
Westside Gun is that the one that got shot in the mouth?
No, that's Conway.
Okay, I'm not really big on Westside Guns.
Okay,
sorry, Westside Guns, man. But
all right, man. Let's
I'm sorry, man. I mean, much love and respect to you, man. I mean, you grind and do your thing, but everybody's music really ain't my cup of tea.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely like Conway, and Benny the Butcher is my favorite out of those cats. But I would probably say Conway might have had one of the better albums, though.
He do had a better string of albums.
And his story is it's a real good story. Yeah. I mean, because life or death situation. I've been in a life or death situation. It's like it definitely changes you. you know, whatnot. So Griselda sound you're going for. Let's talk about New York. Like it's crazy how Griselda has this sound that's still like the New York sound that we love.
Mm-hmm.
But I went to New York City for the first time with Stranger the Great. Shout out to Stranger the Great.
Shout out Stranger, man. Legendary, man. Blaine County stand up.
I heard these cats playing this music like that sounded like, I don't even know if it was a sound that we would typically make, but it was like they were trying to make our sound, but it wasn't really our sound. I wanted to throw up on my mouth. I was like, what is going on in New York? Why do you think that shift happened where New York just, they kind of, to me, they like sold out the sound totally. Like nobody really is bringing out the sound heavy to me. Even like some of these newer cats, you know, and then you got Buffalo over here. It's like they still got that influence from the sound. You think it was just them trying to be like Atlanta so much?
Westside Gunn put it the perfect way. You know what I'm saying? He was saying while New York City was following the rest of the industry,
okay,
we were upstate. You know, so we were the, you know what I'm saying? Like everybody in New York grew up listening to the same type of music.
Yeah.
But somewhere down the line, you know what I'm saying? And this been did to the whole industry. Somewhere down the line, the industry told hip hop, this is how, you know what I'm saying? If you want to get the highest value, what you're trying to do, these are the sounds we're listening to.
Yeah.
These are the type of things we want, you know what we want. And you know, anything else is old, is this and that. You know what I'm saying? Because you know, for a long time there was, oh, we don't want to hear that 90s boom bap crap.
Yeah.
Man, they might hear that even though Kendrick Cole and Drake are the top three dudes, and all
which
three
I always
of them,
say,
all three of them are as pure as you can get as rappers.
And clean, and they're clean too. Not shoot them up, bang bang. I don't sell dope. And
like the biggest rappers in the world are conscious rappers.
Yeah.
The industry will tell you that the biggest and easiest way to get like your heroes is to go to this other way. And in New York, you know what I'm saying? I knew the pin because I knew the change around 2005, 2006. Because when I left New York in 2001, we still had us. We were embracing the South. There's a big misconception that New York didn't respect the South or didn't accept the South.
And I've heard that a lot. Like they always try to shut out Southern artists from getting deals and stuff like that. And it seems like it might have backfired on them.
It's not even that. Because at the end of the day, if you look back at those years, Pastor Troy came out, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
JT Money came out, you know what I'm saying? I'm a big Hot Boys fan. Like I love the Cash Money Millionaires. You know what I'm saying? What they've done separate outside of that is what it is.
And we always had cats from the Midwest too. Like you had 8 Ball MJGs and you had Twisters, and I mean there was always Tech Nine. There was there's always been cats from different regions and stuff.
It was always a misconception that New York didn't like anything. Well, New York's the Mecca. You know what I'm saying? It's the Mecca. It's the Mecca of hip hop, just like Mecca in the Middle East.
New York did at one point kind of top down on down south.
They did.
Music. It was all, you know, basic and simple. They didn't understand our lingo and
what I'm trying to say, what happened was because there was niggas that respected certain Southern artists. Like
not everybody, but there was people that was just like, what is this little basic?
I'm saying, but that you're thinking more. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll leave it this: when No Limit hit, No Limit hit upstate, like it hit everywhere else. When Cash Money started coming up, I was in high school arguing niggas down. Like nigga, y'all sleeping on these hot boys. These hot boys is, you know what I'm saying? I understand they turn, but nigga, you don't understand. These boys is hot. These boys is fire. You know what I'm saying? Niggas 3-6 had just hit up there. Like 3-6.
I wasn't a big fan of them at first. I had a friend that's all he listened to, and I couldn't.
Man, look, my cousin
get with him, but now I love 3-6.
The same cousin,
I love 3-6.
The same cousin that put me on the Hot Boys put me on 3-6.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So it was coming out there, and you know what I'm saying. Nigga, like if your song was good or was big enough for them, you got love from New York.
Yeah,
nigga, you know what I'm saying. But also, certain niggas will also come and kind of, you know what I'm saying, run their mouths a little bit. You know what I'm saying. Now everybody didn't like the South, but niggas respected it because shit, Scarface. There's a plethora of rappers from everywhere, east, west, north, and south. You know what I'm saying? That name Scarface as a major influence. Yeah, Ghetto Boys is big. You know what I'm saying?
Ghetto Boys is huge, especially when I was in junior high. That
you know
my mind played tricks on me. Was damn near a pop song.
Bro, my niece and
nephew, damn near a pop song.
My niece and nephews were born 20 years after that song. We played that in the house. They jammed with us.
Yeah, it was damn near a pop song, man.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But then in the 2000s, when it got bigger, like after Lil Jon and went almost air. The fucking snap.
That's the time when the South really just
started. It came with the hits, but it wasn't. But for every great song, for every great T.I. song, for every great Jeezy song, there was, you know what I'm saying, there was a bunch of simple, crappy dances, and the ones that were making them would come with their chests out like they had to be respected. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Is it safe to say though, Outkast though is really the group that made people have to really take the South on notice? I mean, because Jermaine Dupri was doing what he was doing for a hot minute. I mean, he had Crisscross when I was in school. I mean, he brought out all types of acts out of that.
Who didn't want to
But
be
when
Crisscross?
Outkast came out, I mean, they're literally probably the biggest act out of Atlanta to this day.
Yeah.
And after that, I mean, that's a little while after that, Lil Jon comes out. And then once Lil Jon came out, Lil Jon put on damn near everybody and their mama and their daddy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing that New York wasn't doing at the time.
Putting niggas on. Nah, it was on that you had to earn it type.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that, you know what I'm saying? Like the difference between New York and the South, business-wise, was always Mama. I always revered the Southern hustle.
And we were more independent.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I always revered the Southern hustle.
We were more
I revered Cash Money. I revered No Limit. Suave House. You know what I'm saying?
Suave House, yeah.
You know
Tony
what I mean? Like,
Draper.
I revere that because unlike in New York, you're kind of taught to sharpen your skills, get your raps game right, get your respect, and then go look for a deal. Go to a label with your hand out.
Yeah.
I'm the hottest nigga in my neighborhood. I done put in this work, put me on. In the South, they're like, bump that. You can be the hottest nigga or whatever, but are you willing to put in this work? Are you putting these CDs in the back of this trunk and going around to these clubs? Are you going to these clubs to perform? Are you going to shake these hands, these radio people? You know what I'm saying? I've always respected and always revered that of the South. That's why I've never been one to really diss the South until, you know what I'm saying, when certain niggas start getting big and they start puffing their chests out, like, you know what I'm saying, and disrespecting me, or like,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying, you knew this and this and that, or y'all had y'all time, this and that, nigga, this the Mecca. You know what I'm saying?
But there's a lot of that going on, right?
There's a lot of it going on.
Like even us old cats, they're like, yo, y'all had y'all's time. It's our time now.
But then they
sit down, old farts.
But also, they're the same ones that's crying. They're the same ones that's complaining and crying about these young drill rappers killing each other.
Yeah,
they're the same ones that go. Oh, all these rap songs are simple and corny and predictable. This and that. You know what I'm saying? They're the ones doing that now. My point is, when you seen it, you know what I'm saying? Like, my whole thing is just respect. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gotta like New York artists. You ain't gotta like their music, but just respect that. Without these niggas making this music scene in this one city, you know what I'm saying, this culture goes nowhere.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't hear when a dude make punk rock. If a dude make punk rock from here, you want to hear him say, oh, fuck New York, fuck Great Britain. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you play basketball, as much as niggas love
punk rock is big in Great Britain.
You know what I'm saying? Like, as much as niggas love basketball around here, you would not go to Indiana or you know what I'm saying, and pop shit about, oh man, fuck Indian basketball, nigga, this and that. Even me, when I came here to play ball,
Alabama football,
Like when I was playing ball in the courts, just fucking around in regular street courts, nigga, you tell niggas from New York, you know what I'm saying? And then you get in the whole argument about New York versus NC basketball.
Yeah.
You know, they want to bring up Duke and Carolina. I'm like, nigga, I grew up around Georgetown, Syracuse. I don't care about this. Let's hoop. And you know what I'm saying? So it's always been tribalism. It's just all about respect. You know what I'm saying? For me. I know I'm dragging long about it.
No, you're good though.
It's just really about respect.
I want to keep on this topic though. Weren't we kind of lucky though that California was licking their chops, that New York got rid of that sound and it kind of kicked hip hop out, and he's like, "Yo, girl, you could come stay over here with us," because you had the dilated peoples and of the world really keeping that sound going even to this day.
Here's the thing about rap and hip hop, because I think I've gone to the part of my life where I've had to learn to distinguish the two. Because hip hop has been universal regardless of age, regardless of region. Because dilated peoples, Safari, you know what I'm saying? Exhibit, you know what I'm saying? The Midwest.
Well, how old was Kool Herc when he invented hip hop? He wasn't a young man, was he?
He was in his 30s. He wasn't in his 40s. He was in his 30s.
30s is still like considered old man to these young bucks.
Oh yeah, man. The ageism, don't get me started on the ageism. Don't get me started on the ageism. But that's also a part of ours too. That's our fault too. Because how many people looked at Nelly and was like, yo, he right, when he was going to Karis One saying, you an old man, you get rapper's pension, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, he was justified that Karis One came out first. Yeah. But the way he attacked him was, you know what I'm saying, you old. Get out the game, you know what I'm saying? And then what's the main thing a lot of people say to artists, you know what I'm saying, if you over a certain age, oh, you might need to think about something else, bro, you know what I'm saying? This is a young man's game. We did that. So a lot of things that we done, that we accepted, we passed on to future generations. You know what I'm saying? The thing now is to show them, like, now we got to break that bond. Understand, young man, I might be older, but these skills is forever. You know what I'm saying?
But aren't they onto something? Doesn't every rapper need a second thing to fall back onto?
I mean, yeah.
Whether it's acting or podcasting or whatever. Yeah. I mean, like, I've seen some of these cats become lawyers and doctors. If I'm not mistaken, one of third base is like a lawyer or a doctor or something.
Yeah, shout out. I think talking about
Pete Nice.
Yeah, shout out Pete Nice and shout out Tracy Lee because
Tracy Lee, what's he doing these days?
He's a lawyer, entertainment lawyer.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I reached out to him some years ago, and I just it fell out. But yeah, shout Tracy Lee.
And he actually had the same manager as J. Cole.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
same manager as J. Cole.
Like it's just all like a lot. My whole thing with hip hop, because I'm in a love-hate part of it in my life. I love it because I've always loved it. I always respect the culture. I love the energy that the new artists are bringing. But at the same time, there are sins of the past that have been regurgitated to this newer generation. And some things they have taken it to the further extent that we ever imagined.
Like, what are those things? Like, because, I mean, definitely the killing and the overdosing. And it's like, that's the top two things that rappers die from nowadays. Yeah. None of them die from old age. They die from getting shot and killed or overdosing.
Yeah, that and
it's far more like than when Scott LaRock first was like the first cat hip hop to get killed.
That everybody knows.
Into the 2000s, and now you go to the 2000s to 23 years later, and it's like quadrupled on the amount.
It's the precedent that was set. The generation before us, the you know what I'm saying, the NWAs, the Ice-T's, you know what I'm saying, when they were coming out talking gangster. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they want, you know what I'm saying? They showed the glamour of it a little bit, but they also went to a part of, A, this is where we come from, this is the conditions we live in, world take notice, and B, any kid, you know what I'm saying, listen to this, bro. Yeah, this might sound cool, but understand this comes with this. As time went on, a lot of the message of the other side disappeared as the over exaggeration of the riches and the respect and the rep from all that grew more. You know what I'm saying? And it just grew and grew as time came on. And these kids, unlike our generation, where if two artists were saying something on camera on the record, we can compartmentalize because we were also kind of bred that it's just music at the end of the day. So we can see two artists going back into each other. And if something happens afterward, that's just extra icing on the cake. These kids get it to where, you know what I'm saying, they've been raised by other artists to say, yo, if you know what I'm saying, one thing about the South, I will say that, you know what I'm saying, that's different from New York to a certain degree. A New York nigga, if a nigga get this to New York, they're gonna show you with the skills, or they're gonna show you in and it just regular being of who you are, you know what I'm saying, to compete in that level. A lot of Southern niggas will get to well, how much money you got, this and that. They want to hit your pride. And then when it goes into competition, a lot of them don't want to compete. They're the niggas that want to catch you at the club and they want to run up on you and shit to prove a point. You know what I'm saying? Not saying New York niggas, no, I'm saying everybody don't do that, but nigga, it was more. In my experience, it's more prevalent in the South of a nigga feeling some way about what you say about him rhyme than anywhere else. Niggas might rap about you somewhere else, you know what I'm saying? But nigga down here, he might rap about you, but then also he might catch you at food line. His peoples might catch you at DMV, and then something happens. And then nowadays with the cameras,
and it's funny that I also think part of it is that these cats can't make it just off of the music no more. You have to be a reality TV show, right? So they put everything out there on social media, and it's so easy for somebody to just run up on them.
Yeah,
like Benny the Butcher. It's like I ask myself, do you gotta be Benny the Butcher everywhere you go? When you're in Walmart, do you really gotta be Benny the Butcher?
Well, shit, yeah, because you got robbed in Walmart.
Yeah, I know, but like, and that's the thing. Do you really gotta take the chains there? That's the thing. That's part of the costume. That's part of being Benny the Butcher. If you take the chains off, you could just be whoever your real name is for the day. You know what I'm saying? Like a cat like MF Doom probably never had to deal with this.
No.
Because he had the mask on his face, and I don't think I know what MF Doom looks like, personally. Just like Marshmello. I don't know what Marshmello looks like. Ghostface did it for a while. Lord have mercy. I don't know that he hit. I don't think they just never showed him ever in music videos. I think that's all it was. But I've seen his face one time before in a video. But if you've seen him, like you bump into the dude in the store, you would not know it's Lord have mercy. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to Lord have mercy.
Yeah, and I think that's a big part of it is that they're so famous nowadays, and then they got to put everything out there just to be successful. Like a cat like NBA YoungBoy, that's like why he's kind of number 2 on streaming. Like he puts out so much content, and you know some people frown on it. I don't really frown on it because like
he's feeding the beast.
he's feeding the beast. We know longevity isn't really longevity in this business.
It's not. Yeah, it's not.
You know, and he's just milking the cow the best way he knows how. Shout out to Capadonna.
Facts.
You know, and like you got Drake #1 in streaming, he's #2, and when you get to like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, it's like Taylor Swift, Kanye, and cats like that. Nobody knows. He's not more famous than Kanye and Taylor Swift and Lady Gaga on a worldwide scale, but he just puts out so much.
Yeah,
because some of them are still like on this. You know, they like to space it out. Like Kendrick, I think that's why Kendrick has been so great. He's been able to just put out less music than everybody else and still be propelled as the top artist in the game. And then you got a cat like Cole, which I love, but he's had to put out a little bit more.
Yeah.
To stay in
the
yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because one shoe doesn't fit all. It's not one size fits all with this. Some cats blow up on TikTok, some on YouTube.
Yeah.
And things of that nature.
It's my theory about, you know what I'm saying, about that is it seems as if the real talented artists, the real pure talented artists who really who's not even thinking about the fame and they just want to make the great music, they will take their time. Yeah. Mos Def is a hero of mine. Mos Def, he's been almost 30 years and he's only dropped like 3 or 4 albums. But if you're a fan, if you listen to the albums, you know what I'm saying? Even the Black Star album last year, you see the craftsmanship, the work he puts into it. Now, artists like Wayne or artists like Youngboy that keep hitting you with stuff, they're feeding the beast and hitting, you know what I'm saying, feeding the beast. But that's what their fans want. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like a little like back in the day, if niggas be honest, a Lil Wayne fan back in the day, they wasn't trying to hear how great his album could be, what kind of different concepts you can go to. They want to hear Wayne spit Wayne over and over and over again. Like Youngboy. They don't want to see, I mean, I know because I got a nephew that's around the age that a Youngboy fan. Yeah. And you know what I'm saying? They don't look at it like, I want to hear Youngboy, how his view on the world is. Yeah. Really, they just want to hear Youngboy talk that talk.
And it's also, none of these songs they're putting out are going to be like songs 10 years from later. We're like, oh, you remember that?
Yeah. If anything, it's gonna be to do.
They might have 1 or 2, and that's it. Yeah, you know,
the rest of it's gonna be for their fans who like their music, and they're gonna want to keep it on everything. Like, I don't know how many Lil Wayne fans I know still have all those tapes. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like nobody plays old Lil Wayne's freestyle stuff like that no more. But I know people who are fans of his. A lot of them that still had them.
I used to be a Joyner Lucas fan before he decided contributing and canceling Kanye, and he's kind of that way. He put so much time and energy into everything. You can't rush it, like I don't know if you've seen Joyner Lucas, the Will record. Yes. I thought it was like one of the most genius concepts ever in hip hop, and it wasn't really on no mainstream radio or anything of that nature. It was all social YouTube video,
and niggas and people got the vibes because one, if you're over a certain age, certain generation, at one point in your life, you want to be the Fresh Prince. Let's be honest. Everybody, if you were, you know what I'm saying, of a certain age, like that show. Now, if you were a Fresh Prince fan, kid, you might not have. But most of us who watch Fresh Prince and like the show.
I don't like the remake.
Yeah, I don't like the remake either. But you know what I'm saying? I don't like a lot of remakes.
Yeah, remakes don't always. Sometimes the remakes can be better. Yeah. Like Rock did Walking Tall remake. I thought it was one of his better movies.
Yeah. Like some of them you could tell that they really want to honor the core subject or core movie that they're remaking. Some of them you could just tell it's a money grab. Yeah. Like I watched RoboCop. The first time I seen the RoboCop remake of Samuel Jackson, I fucking cursed the high heavens because I was like, "What the fuck is this?" Like,
yeah, that's with the dude off Suicide Squad.
Yeah. I was like, "What the hell is this?" Like, you know what I'm saying?
And my man's from the original actually played Sons of Anarchy on the last few episodes. The last few seasons and whatnot. And I ain't seen him for a long time. When I came back, I'm like, oh man, that's the dude for RoboCop. And that's the thing. A lot of these old actors, they've been in the game so long. When they come back, they just always so much better in season. Let's get into something Marvel you were talking about earlier. I think Endgame was like the end game for Marvel.
That was the end of it?
That was the end of it. Like, I haven't really liked none of this stuff Marvel's put out, except maybe that Spider-Man where they had the other Spider-Mans in it.
Journey to the Multiverse or what was that? Journey to the Multiverse?
I think so. And then the Doctor Strange after that was pretty decent. But like all the TV shows they came out with, I didn't like the Wanda And
Vision One or She-Hulk. I'm not a fan of
I couldn't even watch She-Hulk. I can't watch the feminist version of the male superheroes.
I got you.
I can't do it.
I got you.
You know, not that I, like I'm a sexist.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't watch them because I already know what their
agenda is.
ideology and their agendas are, and I can't watch anything dealing with entertainment that has an agenda. And that's the thing. Ever since Endgame, Disney didn't have them at Endgame, did they?
Endgame, I think they just started getting.
They just started buying them. So it seems like Disney's came in and they brought this agenda. And I'm a businessman. I'm self-employed.
Yeah.
I have a problem with taking a political stance on a business. A podcast is different.
Mm-hmm.
But like when I go to my marketing business, you're not going to see like vote Democrat or vote Republican or vote anything, because I think when you take this political stance as a business, you've alienated half of your consumers.
That's true.
And that's what the NBA has done. That's what Disney has done with Disney movies and Marvel movies.
Yeah.
I couldn't watch The Woman King.
I haven't watched that yet either.
Because like I just know it's definitely based on a true story, but it's not.
Yeah, they kind of over embellished on things.
It's a false narrative to try to. You think there's too many of these political agendas in these movies?
I think it depends on your perspective. I think it depends on your perspective, because you know what I'm saying. As an African American, I feel that in certain situations, because our voices and our feelings have been silent so long, that sometimes, you know what I'm saying, especially in these days times, we just have to force our way to be heard. But you know what I'm saying. It depends. Like I said, it depends on, you know what I'm saying. It depends, because I see where you come from.
Yeah, but when you sit there like, okay, Viola Davis, and you sit there and say, if you don't go watch this movie, you don't support women can lead movies. Well, that's horseshit, because I went and watched movies where women lead movies. But maybe it could be just I'm not interested in this freaking movie.
Yeah. But I don't think. Oh yeah.
And like even bros, because I had a gay neighbor over here before he moved, and he broke down the whole agenda of that. Like it's supposed, they pawn it off as like a gay comedy, but it's a movie to shame straight people into watching it. That's all it is, because that's why they were sitting there saying, if you don't go watch this movie, you're a homophobe. And like I told a friend, well, I tried, I seen the trailer.
Yeah.
If there was anything remotely funny, I might would have gave it a chance.
Yeah.
Because funny is funny.
Facts.
But it wasn't fun. Nothing funny about it. And you want to shame straight people into, like, I'm considered the enemy in society right now.
Yeah.
The straight white single male. I'm the top of the list.
Fact. I mean, part of that though, you gotta miss though. Some of your contemporaries, some of your compatriots have made that. You know what I'm saying? It's the thug narrative for us, for y'all right now. You know what I'm saying? Like when somebody sees you like a straight white male who's speaking his truth, just speaking from his perspective.
Yeah.
Some people they see Trump supporters, they see QAnon believers.
Yeah, I don't even watch QAnon. Like,
look,
I can tell you
I can tell you a story when we get off about, you know what I'm saying, a couple years ago when the Proud Boys came. I can tell you a little story about that. But you know what I'm saying? That's what they see. Just like, some people when some people see me at a Walmart or something like that with dreads, they might see me, but like, nigga, they see thug, they see hooligan, you know what I'm saying? They see any negative thing they've been taught to believe about me. You know what I'm saying? It's just hard for some people. It's just hard.
But isn't there a lot of book cover judging going on nowadays?
Of course,
even more.
Of course. And I've been guilty of it myself in certain situations.
I mean, I don't get it. I felt like we were in a good place. Like my mom voted for the first time, Barack Obama.
Yeah,
I vote for the first time, Barack Obama.
And
everybody tries to blame it all on Trump, but that's bogus. There's a little bit of this far left radical stuff.
Yeah,
that Barack brought in. And that's what it really is. It's not no voices in the middle really that are loud enough. It's just far left and far right. And they always say right and left, but even just regular right and left.
Yeah.
Because like Bill Maher, for example, He's a liberal,
Yeah.
or so he says he is.
So he says he is.
But
I fuck Bill Maher.
But he does. A lot of conservatives would tell Bill Maher otherwise. Charlemagne the God. He's another one who's liberal, but I can't tell so much.
Oh man,
I can't, because sometimes he swings on the conservative side.
Mm-hmm.
Stephen A. Smith, he flip flops.
Yeah,
but when it's like he's getting heat because he's doing, he's having Sean Hannity on his show, but he was on Sean Hannity.
Yeah.
So one hand washes the other, right? On that, like, if I, like you got a show and I got a show, that's like I did the bomb shelter interview, and they did shout out to bomb shelters. Mm-hmm. They did a documentary of Mr. J right before they came over here. I didn't know that. Yeah. Mr. J hits me up. What's good with a podcast interview? Then I see, he did a documentary with bomb shelter. It just one hand washes the other, because then when he comes on, guess what we talk about? More bomb shelter too, because they're in the documentary. Right. So it timing and one hand washes the other, But
that's the way it should. That's the way it should be, and for most part, that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, because when I say this, because I get accused of being racist, and the whole thing is I'm not racist. I love everybody. You know what I'm saying? Shit, some of the most influential people in my life are Caucasian. Martin Scorsese, Quentin Tarantino, Eminem, LP, Idea, rest in peace, Justin Pierce. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love everybody. It's just from my experiences, the things I've been through, I've been taught that you know what I'm saying, as much as you might be love and tolerant, everybody isn't that. And in America, there's certain things that are just drawn down by racial lines. Whether we want to admit it or not, whether we want to rationalize it or not, there's just certain things that are broken down by racial lines. And for us, it's more difficult because the stakes is high for our community on different levels. It's not the same. We don't have the same fears as everybody else. At the end of the day, the world has seen the past couple of years. You know what I'm saying? There's few people that have been killed by police, but they don't have the fear of having their death or have their encounter with police that goes bad publicly documented for the world to see. You know what I'm saying? And then they don't have the fucking, they don't have the feeling of their mother or their father or their loved ones having to defend their name when they're gone because somebody on Fox News.
But isn't that partially because the media does it?
Oh yeah, the media does it. Yeah,
there's no equality in nothing. I mean, like,
no, there's no equality in nothing. Yes, but you know what I'm saying? It hurts different when because you can. I don't want to go too into it because you know what I'm saying. Yeah. But it's different when you see it. When you see a Mike Brown or Trayvon Martin happens, and you know what I'm saying, and you sit there and you're looking and you're thinking, because everybody black that I know has had an incident with the police. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody's walked away from it, but everybody I know, certain, whether light or big, we all in African American community as males, some point or another had incidents with police. And to see what happens with these other people, I've cried so many times thinking, what if that had been me? You know what I'm saying? What if that had been my brother? What if that had been my nephew? You know what I'm saying? I don't want nobody to pass, but I don't want, you know what I'm saying? But I would hate for that to happen. You know what I'm saying? And then we get caught up in the circle of trying to, you know what I'm saying, move and work for change of the name of these people, and it just seems to get wrapped up and twisted and perverted. Somebody or
like, did you see the one? Okay, I reacted to it. The lady that took the lady hostage in Walmart. There was a black woman took a white woman hostage in a Walmart, and there was a lot of people saying, "Taser, shoot her in the leg." Like,
of course they would, but if it was the other way around, the police come. They're going to try to.
But my whole thing is how we know that she's just going to shoot the hostage in the leg. Like, at that point, when somebody has somebody hostage, I mean, don't we like to have to choose, like, one life is more important than the other at that, no matter what the race is? I mean, even if it was a white woman holding another white woman hostage, you know, at that point, you know, the person holding the gun, their life is kind of like lowered than the person
who they got the
gun too, because this is the random person, and you could just see this a heavy set white lady, scared shitless, you know, and I've had a gun put to me before, and
I have too.
Some people will, when they have it to them, they get scared more.
Yeah,
I think part of the problem with policing is the incentives. Like, at the end of the month, every month, what is it? Everybody's always talking about we gotta get caught up on our quotas.
Yeah. The policing is deeper than just. It's probably that was sensitive for me because, like I said, every time I see one of them things, I just get
And then
hurt.
another part is, I think that one of the biggest steps into police reform and prison reform is the decriminalization and legalization of marijuana. And until that comes in,
we're stuck.
Yeah, because then you don't got to worry about.
Didn't they just shoot that down in Congress not too long ago? They just shot that down in
Congress. You got look at a place like North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
It's always going to be tough in North Carolina because tobacco companies are going to vote against it, and we're the Bible Belt state.
Yeah.
So you got those two things weighing on you, and then alcohol companies don't want weed being legalized any more than anything. Because I'm a strong component. It's like, this is where I think conservatives and liberals are, I call them my body, my choice hypocrites. Because you got conservatives on one side, like my body, my choice vaccines. Now, not saying I don't disagree with them. I do. Then you got liberals over here with my body, my choice abortions. I disagree with them. I'm a laws of nature guy. We're designed to procreate, But they're both hypocrites because neither one of them has decriminalized or legalized marijuana yet.
Fact.
And that's a my body, my choice issue as well. Along with if you want to snort cocaine or shoot up heroin,
but to be fair, the history of drugs in America is a complicated and dirty story.
Drug use has been going on long before America, dude.
True that. But we're talking about you just speaking about, drug addicts and everything here. There's a lot of things more complex than where it appears. Even when we go back to the police thing, it's deeper than just them hurting unarmed citizens. It's also the corruption. It's also their hand in the drug trade. Because we all know.
Yeah, but that's not the majority of cops.
Not the majority. Not the majority
got their hands in the drug trade.
No, majority of them don't. But it's just like with cops. It's just like when they shoot people. For all the good cops that are quick to say, not everybody does that. They don't. They are very, very slow to speak up when they get brought to the light.
Well, another part is some don't eat motherfuckers. They stay out of shape. I don't know if you've seen the video. There was a video with this guy. Cops rolled up on him. They knew he had weapons in the house. They like, they tried to stop him from going in the house. He didn't. He went straight in the house, got the gun, come out shooting. So you know what? Then they're gonna do what they do. You see all these cops hiding behind their cars. This guy gets I don't know if you watch Officer Tatum.
No, I don't watch that.
But he's a former cop. He's like a conservative guy. The cop pulls up, sits his coffee down, calmly gets out, goes around, and aims one time, shoots the dude. He's down.
So the cop shot him?
Yeah, because he's out there. He's shooting at everybody. He's shooting at everybody. At that point,
it's off.
So, but all the rest of the cops. The point is, all the rest of the cops were just hiding behind cars. You had this one guy.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. You don't got too many of those one guys that can handle pressure like that. It's like the one with the lady. Who was the one with the lady accidentally shot the guy? She thought she pulled out the taser.
Oh,
and I already am not sexist, but I already have a problem with women policing. Because we're talking about, we have a problem with men policing.
I get it.
So I have a problem with women policing because they can't wrestle. These Hollywood movies, these Marvel movies. They got them. Confused. Thinking, you see these 5'3" chicks smaller than me, beating up 4, 5, 6'6", 250-pound guys that I can't even beat up. And we know it's not. We know, like, women. There's a big difference.
The power of media is something else.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I get what you're saying on that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't think women should be policing. I think that's a problem. I think they're not. They get complacent on training. Some of these guys are they're not honey badgers. Like, cops need to be honey badgers. They need to be fearless. They can't just panic at the sign of everything. You know what I'm saying? And freak out at the sign of everything.
Yeah, and I think part of it too is some of these cops need that old school approach. Like in Newburgh, I grew up, right? Some of the cops that were in the city of Newburgh, they grew up there. They knew the neighborhoods. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you ever watch The Wire or
I love The Wire. I love The Wire.
There be cops there. Good, you know what I'm saying? The cops that know the area.
They know by name and stuff like that.
Like places
nobody polices the communities no more.
Yeah, nobody does because these people becoming fresh out. Because they becoming fresh out the military or fresh out wherever they're doing, coming and be patrolling a whole different side of the city that they don't even live in, talking to people and dealing with people that they do not, you know what I'm saying, that they don't deal with in their community. There's very few cops in this city that I know that are from the community or that people in the community know them in a positive light. But you know what I'm saying, if you go on the other side. Like Officer Bob might be a great guy in his neighborhood, you know what I'm saying? Leave a church, barbecue, this and that. But you go on the other side of town, he's chasing, you know what I'm saying, brothers down, running homeless people in the middle of the night, you know what I'm saying? That's my problem too. You know what I'm saying? Like if you want people to trust the police, we need to get back to a point where the police represented the communities they're from.
We don't have communities no more to me. We just have hoods. You know why? Because the community is with, like, you see how I knew my neighbor? Mm-hmm. I know all my neighbors here. Yeah. But guess what? I don't know the ones across the street or the ones there because there's no community. Yeah. There's no community. And part of that starts with us, too. We got to police our own communities, too, right?
I've been on that.
And that's the thing. We don't have a community going on. We're not policing our own communities.
Just a bunch of houses where people live in.
Yeah, we're just a bunch of houses where people live in.
Yeah, I get that. I've been feeling on that, too. But even I used to do, you know what I'm saying? I tried to start
we're all in our self-centered worlds. And, you know,
I tried to start a community group, you know, a couple years ago that kind of fell apart. And mainly because of that, because you know what I'm saying? I still believe in community because I grew up as a kid.
Amish got communities and Jewish and Asian. I've
grown up living and seeing what a community really is. Unfortunately, and I hope
rich people got communities.
Oh, of course.
Of course. Gated communities.
Super gated communities. Yeah. And I want to talk about that Steph Curry thing. But you know
let's get into it then.
Oh, okay. Well, I was gonna make my point. We can go to Steph Curry. I see both sides of it. You know what I'm saying?
What side are you seeing? I mean, the only side I see for Steph Curry is property value goes down.
Property value now and the hypocrisy of that. I see that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I see that. Like I can see that, but and
I wasn't the one on the. If you notice, the video I was reacting to was the guy that was really saying you're the social justice warrior, but when it comes time to have this low income housing next to you, we ain't having that shit here.
Well, y'all look at the reputation. You gotta look at the reputation and the intents of low income housings when they do it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not like a city or a town when they make a apartment building or a project like that. They're saying, we want to, you know what I'm saying, just build some people. Because, there's homeless people walking around this mall all the time.
Especially, homeless is crazy over here where I'm at.
So it's not like they build those to factually fund. No, what they do is they do that to bring down, the value. Yeah. It's Chicago in the 90s. It's New York in the 90s. It's all these major cities. At some point, they did the same thing. The neighborhood got too dangerous. They made nice buildings and complexes and everything else, moved them niggas out the hood. The old neighborhoods that were nice and everything, they just moved them over there. You know what I'm saying? And once that value came back up and that value went down, they just flipped it back over and over again. That's what all it is.
That's like Bill Clinton got an office in Harlem and all of a sudden,
you know what I'm saying? Like it's like that. Now with Steph Curry,
I loved Harlem before Bill Clinton too. Though.
Now one thing is, even though I would love this, but one fact about African community that nobody wants to admit is not everybody sees the black experience the same way. Like you gotta look at Steph Curry. This is a guy who, from the moment he was born. He was, he was born into a family of, of athletes and people. He lived a well-off life most of his life. Yep. He might have met and been around people from lower walks of life that are his shade, but he can't fully relate to them like a LeBron can.
And that's what pisses me off when I see sometimes these dudes that never really, like, they always kind of
got something to say about
but they always been in this title position. Like, okay, like LeBron, he didn't have his father and he struggled early, but his son can't really
speak on
that same journey. Like he's probably the most entitled kid on the planet right now.
Yeah, but he's also humble as fuck. Like I love LeBron James,
and I hope he succeeds. I think it was like even LeBron said he wishes he didn't give him the name.
Yeah, Bronny.
Jordan didn't name none of his kids Michael Jordan Jr.
Same time though, none of his kids made the league.
I get that, but we don't know that Bronny's gonna make the league on his own validity. Name, there's a team that will just sign him just because his name. Because I've seen the list of the colleges that are going for him, and I'm like, he's not good enough to play for those colleges yet. He's not good enough for a Duke.
Good enough.
He's not good enough for Carolina.
I know it. I don't know why. I knew
He's not
Duke
good enough for Duke in the Carolina yet.
Bro.
I'm a Tar Heels fan, but he's not good enough for Duke or Carolina yet.
Love y'all collegiate sports. I feel you.
He's not good enough yet to represent one of our teams.
I got you.
Not as the guy.
Oh no, not as the guy.
And I want him to succeed. I want him to succeed. His brother's like really.
His brother's gonna be the one.
He's probably gonna be bigger than him. He's like 6'3".
Bronny hoop though. I mean, Bronny, he ain't.
Yeah, I looked at his rankings. He's 8th in his position out there.
Yeah, you watch him highlights. Shoot, you watch him highlights. He give it to niggas once in the blue moon.
Well, let me ask you the opinion on this.
Yeah.
Brittany Griner, man.
Oh yeah.
I'm just like, what the fuck was you thinking?
She wasn't thinking. It was a mistake. It was something she.
I know for a fact Japan is like Russia too. Like they ain't playing with that weird shit. And I could have been born in Okinawa, Japan, because my grandfather was stationed there. I always said I wanted to be born in Japan. Then I heard 5 to 10 years of weed. Oh, fuck that! I don't want. Hell no, I didn't want to be born in Japan after that.
Yeah, they almost got Paul McCartney.
Did they? Okay.
Yeah, remember?
Weed too.
You go to Japan with a bunch of weed.
And that's the thing. We have to stop acting like we know that. We're kind of further on this weed thing than a lot of countries still.
We're further on drugs than a lot of countries.
Than drugs, because even California, I think some places they've like made it where it's kind of legal to, and I think that might be a good thing because as long as it could give them the opportunity to probably control the quality and the overdoses, and because we got the fentanyl thing. They said fentanyl's killing more kids than ages 25 to 35 than
I done lost a few.
Than COVID right now.
I done lost a few close friends of mine.
I haven't had nobody overdose from fentanyl.
I've had a few.
I know a friend of mine had a few people, family members died from the COVID and stuff when that came out, but the fentanyl, I haven't known nobody yet. But Brittany Griner, I mean, was she just? We know she did that. This ain't the first time she tried to.
Yeah. It was dumb. It was dumb. It was dumb. My whole thing was the context of everything else around it.
Like what?
The Russians in war right now. The wartime nation right now. They're warring with, you know what I'm saying, Ukraine. And we have publicly shown our support for the Ukraine government. We have one of our most talented female athletes, man or woman, Brittany Griner. You know, she might not have LeBron James.
I wouldn't say most famous. I wouldn't say most talented. She can't even dunk 2 times out of 10.
She got the NCAAs and the WNBA championship to back. What I'm saying, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like if you personally don't like how she played, but she got the resume. That's what I'm saying. Like she got the resume that you wanted to put that out there.
Yeah, but I could do layups all day. But
hey, me too. You know what I mean? We had one of my decorated, and
I'm not talented basketball.
Let's not forget. I mean, let's not also remember. People have gotten off on situations like that with less. Like I'll guarantee you, if it had been LeBron, Kyrie, or somebody like that, you know what I'm saying? They could have came.
Okay, let me ask you this though.
They could have came to Russia with a pound of reefer. Joe Biden and whoever else is gonna try their best to get them out of there. Now I'm not saying she was right.
Did he really try his best at first?
Joe Biden effort to get her
at first.
Oh no. That's what pissed me off.
And do you think Trump would have tried to put more effort?
Oh, I think he would have. I think he would have. He would have only to get the press for doing it, just like he did with.
Isn't that the only reason Biden did it for votes?
For votes? I mean, personally, at the end of the day, yeah.
I mean, we left the guy in there.
I'm not a fan of either one of them. You know? I'm not a fan of either one of them.
A lot of people are upset about that we left the other guy in there that's been in there a lot longer.
Yeah, and
he's in there supposedly as a spy, and he's ex-military, and you know. That's another thing. People get sensitive about that.
That's the rule of the game, though.
Yeah.
Now, if we caught a spy from another country here, like how many we don't they won't even tell you.
Okay, but what about who we traded it for?
For the arms dealer?
Yeah, I mean, like, don't we look weak?
I mean, yeah,
we look pretty pathetic right now.
We look weak, pathetic, but we
traded for the Lord of War. Nicolas Cage, Lord of War.
Oh, the real life dude?
Yeah, that's what it was.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Yo, I love that movie.
I didn't know that either at first. I didn't know that either at first. That's the Nicolas, the guy from the
movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, this guy was like.
True. Well, shit, they been knew that even before we locked him up. If you watch Dog of War, he made deals with them everybody, mostly the Russians, and he came.
I mean, that's the best trade ever, though. Yeah. Right? The best trade ever for Russia. They really got.
Depends what they're gonna do with it. Now, if it comes to where Russia comes and attacks the United States, and
they probably gonna use them to try to get weapons, access to weapons or something. I would think.
Yeah, more likely to fight. I mean, yeah,
he didn't have no bias. He would sell to anybody.
Yeah, he
didn't care who
he was. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, if it was somebody against America, he would sell to him.
Sure, he sold to Americans too.
He was all about the dollar bill.
Yeah. So I don't think his loyalty is going to be completely.
No, he don't have. Yeah,
and two, again, Russia and Ukraine's conflict is Russia-Ukraine's conflict. So if he goes and helps them take over the Ukraine, that's not really our concern until he comes over here. And I understand why people were looking at it like that. Like, why would you do that? But at the same time, she's an American citizen. Like, I want all American citizens, unless you did some shit like espionage or something like that. That's the rules of the game.
But like, you go to a communist country, man. I mean, is it not, like, my sister's been to China before?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've heard some things. Like, when you go to a country like this where we know that they control every aspect of a person's life.
Yeah.
I mean, I just feel like I don't feel sorry for one bit. I would never even visit a communist country.
She wasn't visiting. She was playing ball.
It doesn't matter. That's even worse.
She had to take.
That's even worse. You were in business with a communist country.
I understand, yeah, but
you were in business with a communist country.
All women basketball players do that because they don't get paid like the men. They don't even get the same respect to pay like men.
Okay, but that argument is not even valid.
How's it not?
Because they don't make a profit.
Profit what?
The league has not made a single profit.
So that's why Brittany Griner and the rest of them, they go to China, they go to Russia.
She could have went to other countries though.
She was in other countries too, but she played.
But she's been playing in Russia mainly.
Yeah, but that's I guess yeah.
And there's females that actually still went back to Russia
to play ball because they want to play
get
ball
more money in Russia than they will in other countries.
Right. And let's not forget, this country, if nothing else, this country breathes to any man, woman, and child. Get yours.
Yeah, but okay, but then again, I really don't feel sorry for her. Because you're telling me she took more money to go to a country that's communist and know that they're 5 to 10 years for weed.
Yeah. That's why I don't.
And we still lock people up in America here. We still lock people up in America for weed.
I know that, but she was. And what I'm saying with Brittany Griner is, yeah, she. You know what I'm saying? I don't agree with that what she did. I don't agree with. I never did. But I'm not. You know what I'm saying? The stakes were too high. What was going on with the war in Russia, and you know what I'm saying? With the war in Russia, and then you got someone like of that stature locked in Russian prison. And
I think without the war, she would have got it. You know why?
Mm-hmm.
Because she's
without the war,
she's a lesbian.
Yeah,
and they're not big. You know, there's a lot of countries that are still not big. I reacted to Kenya president where he said 99% of people have voted of making homosexuality illegal. I mean, if you're in a country where 99% of the people voted on something,
you do know part of that is the conservatives and like the far right conservative churches and pastors that came to Africa about 15 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Like there was a movement they brought.
Well, we know, religion is, but it's not even just Christians though.
Some of that.
Islam frowns on that too, though.
Huh?
Islam frowns on it far worse than Christianity, I would say.
Right,
far worse. And I can go to Afghanistan and
I know. Look,
see what happens.
I got my girl. Hey, Buki, I got my woman, so I ain't worried about it. You know what I'm saying?
Let's get into anti-Semitism in the Black community.
Okay, bet.
Where are you gonna go with this?
See,
I know what side I'm on.
Oh man. Okay.
I don't even really want to say I'm on a side. I just think the Jewish got it all wrong.
The Jews got it all wrong. Who, Kanye?
All right, let me tell you why I think it is going on here. Like, this is how I look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Modern day Jewish people
are
only Jewish by religion, not region.
True.
Jerusalem is in Africa.
Fact.
We know Jerusalem has been conquered many times. If I just go off a bit what the Bible says, the first conqueror it says was King David, Hebrews. Well, Hebrews weren't Caucasians.
No, not at all.
It's like I think what's going on here is like the same thing that goes on in Egypt. It's going on in Egypt. We know original Egyptians. Like if you watch Egyptian movies, unless they got white people playing Egyptians, they're more Arabic looking.
Yeah.
Well, Egyptians weren't Arabics originally. They were Africans. So at some point, Arabs conquered, and there's more of the Arabic thing, or they intermingled races. One of the two. I'm thinking, and I almost look at the modern day Jewish people as borderline white supremacy. And it's like, I know they're like arguing and fighting over who's God's people. Well, I don't believe in none of who man says is God. So I think they're all arguing over nothing.
Yeah.
And I think, like, okay, let's take Kyrie, for example. I don't think he watched the documentary that he tweeted. I think there's a lot of people that agree with me thinking that he didn't watch the documentary. I think he just took the title
and just shared it
and ran with it.
Or he might. My theory is someone reached out to him and said, "Hey, bro,"
and told him, and then he went
either told him or incentivized him. Hey, bro, you know what I'm saying? Because look, we deal in the digital space. Yeah, it ain't nothing for someone. You know what I'm saying? For someone to be like, "Hey, bro," you know what I'm saying? If you got their name popping up, "Hey, bro, can you share this?" You know what I'm saying? We work something out for this, for my business, this and that. So ain't no telling, that could have been it for Kyrie, and Kyrie decided to do it, or you know what I'm saying, he had just seen the cover and said that's interesting, because Kyrie's been going towards that way for some years now.
Yeah,
like I follow Instagram ever since 2018. His posts have been more towards the pro-blackness, and
I wasn't big on him when he left LeBron, and then now I'm a big fan of him now. His stance with the vaccination. Then I realized he's a laws of nature guy, because he's out there with his sage and his Native American thing, going on, and then the stand, like, then I understood where he was coming at, because he said it himself, like, how can I be anti-Semitic when I and even I don't know if I reacted to it. The Nick Cannon and Professor Griff were talking about this too and whatnot, and I'm definitely a Nick Cannon fan as far as procreating goes. I agree with him 1,000%. And even to the point where he has to say it's a white man thing. It's just a man-made thing. It doesn't matter what color man made it. It's a man-made thing. It doesn't align with the laws of nature. Like, even like, I hate to say this, but rape is a man-made thing, because animals, it's not rape when animals do it. They just procreate and that's it. And all this stuff is like labels and man-made things. Mainly.
I mean, a lot of, man. Hey, man, that's why God made us different than every other.
So, I mean, are you on Kyrie's side, or like, do you kind of think the Jewish a little borderline white supremacy with it? Like, they're clinging too much on this white man Jew thing, and
first off,
because I'm not Jewish one bit, so I'm not religious one bit. I don't got a religious dog in this fight.
Well, my thing is, I'm all for anyone. I'm all for anyone who finds their truth. You know what I'm saying?
I don't believe in their truth. That's the thing. I have a problem with that. I don't believe in their truth or her truth, his truth or her truth. I just believe in the truth.
Understandable. But the truth also, because I mean, as much as we want to admit or not, as human beings, you know what I'm saying?
I think that they're using the wrong word for our truth and his truth. I think it should be called perspective.
There you go. Okay. There you go.
I don't believe there's not two different truths to one thing.
I got you.
And that's the problem with people using the wrong words for things, and
I only brought that in.
They change the definitions of things too.
I only said it like that, brought in because, you know what I'm saying, when years ago when I read the Masonry book, and one thing that always stuck to me was, it was saying that, you know what I'm saying, religion is nothing more than your road to God. All roads lead to the Creator. If you believe whatever you believe in, all roads lead to the Creator, or at least to the essence of what He represents. Whether you're a Christian, whether you're Jewish, whether you're Muslim, there's different doctrines, there's different ways, different cultures, different ways people do stuff. But at the end of the day, if you are truly, truly spiritual, not religious, if you're truly spiritual, you know what I'm saying, no matter what vessel you take, you're trying to find your way to the Creator. I don't judge nobody up there, you know what I'm saying, religious preference. But what I will say about you know what I'm saying, the rise of anti-Semitism, because it's deeper than just it's deeper than just, I'm gonna use Kyrie right now.
They're definitely trying to make a connection, a war out of it. Like,
of course, you know what I'm saying. After look, if the race war didn't pop off during Barack Obama or Donald Trump, it just seems to be a narrative of, we're gonna get this goddamn helter skelter rocket. You know what I'm saying? And no matter where we're gonna get y'all to clash. You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, nobody wants. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, it seems to be on one side of the fence than the other. Because, you know what I'm saying? But either way.
So you don't have no problem with what Kyrie did at all?
My only problem, see, the thing with Kyrie is it's multifaceted for me because I'm a fan of sports and I've known, you know what I'm saying? Because to me, it's much deeper than just what he did when it comes to the backlash he got from the organizations. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? He did a lot of crap. You know what I'm saying? He came to Brooklyn. He didn't play much the first 2 years. He made a whole bunch of demands. When whatever reason, whatever thing came to his mind, he would sit down off of. He showed the coach no respect. Like Steve Nash lost. The moment Steve Nash lost Kyrie Irving respect, apparently he lost the whole locker room.
Yeah.
So it was more multifaceted than just what he did with the post. Now, when he posted at first, yeah, mind you, this is still around time Kanye was in this world.
And that's the thing. I almost think he was kind of doubling down on Kanye.
Yeah, I can see. I see that now too. And you see what happened. He doubled down. You know what I'm saying? My whole thing was the only thing I defended Kyrie when he was like, you know what I'm saying, when he said, I can't be anti-Semitic. You know what I'm saying? If I know where I'm coming from, and him trying to find his origins, where he's from, and push. And you know what I'm saying?
But let's say he didn't watch the documentary, and he retweets it. Are we really gonna punish this man for retweeting something that he didn't watch?
He really got punished because when they asked him about it in the press conference,
and it was that dude from Miami Heat that was Nick something that I didn't like that the way he was going at it. And he didn't have a dog in the fight
at all. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? That's what Kyrie, see, that's what it was. That's what everybody think Kyrie got in trouble for that. No, what Kyrie got in trouble was when they asked him about it in press conference, he was so defensive and standoffish, which he had been historically to the media. It was just he picked the wrong thing to be standoffish about instead of addressing it to get a clear, you know what I'm saying, to get understanding and move it out the way. He wanted to stand cautious of it. So what happened was the media, who never liked him, was going to do what they did anyway. And one thing I am jealous of Jewish people about is the fact that, you know what I'm saying, they will stand for their community when their community disrespected. You know what I'm saying? They go back to
they don't play. You're right. They don't
play at all. Yeah. They don't just play to pray and let's move over to the nah. What you say?
And I get the fact that they were upset that the documentary supposedly tried to say that Holocaust didn't happen, and nobody's gonna say that on this podcast because we've seen enough history to know what happened. And then another thing is I think they try to make I see where people try to make like a versus between the Holocaust and slavery.
There is a movement. There is a movement.
Like which one was worse, kind of thing.
There's a movement from the far right.
Are we really doing which one's worse?
Yeah. I'm telling you, that is the far right. It's the far right. And
it's not just the far right. Oh, wait. I know. I can't allow you to say that on this podcast. It's the far left too.
I don't know how many.
Both sides are accountable, dude.
I don't know how many. I haven't seen. I've watched a lot of Candace Owens, Alex Jones, and them type of videos, and I've seen. You know what I'm saying? I've seen the same thing from the Young Turks and everything else. They don't go to the lengths that most of them far right people do, because again, you know what I'm saying?
I would disagree.
The Holocaust denial is older than us. Yeah. They've been doing Holocaust denial since they caught the Nazis and had them in trial in Nuremberg.
I would disagree. View, Joy Behar, Whoopi.
And they deny the Holocaust?
No, I'm just saying.
Now, you want to do
I'm talking about as far as saying crazy outlandish shit. You said like the right is on this radical stuff.
Okay, but
AOC,
their fans,
their
fans don't use it as a rallying cry. My mother watches The View and all them type of shows. She don't take everything they say to heart, but someone who watches Fox News, someone who might watch InfoWars, someone, you know what I'm saying, someone like that, how many of them end up in the news being the shooters, the bombers?
This is the thing about the Fox News side. Fox News side willing to bring on liberals and have a civil discussion. The other side is not willing to do that. As soon as you go on something like The View, just like they did Ted Cruz, and I thought he was courageous as fuck for doing that, because Ted Cruz on The View. What are they going to do? They just going at him the whole time. So you got nothing nice to say about this man when he's a guest on your show? And you're going to get that from the left every single time if you're conservative or far right. As soon as you go on there, that's why they don't want to go on none of these shows, because it's an attack every time. And Candace, and like I don't watch Candace Owens a lot, but like I seen her react to
Megan Stein direct.
No, Andrew Tate, and she don't like Andrew Tate or agree with anything he says, but she was civil with how she did it. You know what I'm saying?
She tried to back him in a certain way without saying I support him, but saying it's not that
she
bad.
Don't want to totally shit on everything about him
until these charges came out with him. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like that's the thing about the right. You know what I'm saying? Because you're saying it's both. But at the same time, you know what I'm saying? I have seen more instances, good or bad, because I will say there are bad instances of it too on the left. And don't get me wrong, I'm not a Democrat, I'm not left leaning, I'm independent voter.
And just so you know, that the guy that went at Kyrie, he's a liberal.
Yeah, of course.
So if he doesn't go at Kyrie, that's not even a story.
If you don't go after him,
if he doesn't ask him those questions, because think about it, they're at the end of a game.
It wouldn't have
the
been
questions are supposed to be about what?
Yeah,
the game.
The game. But at the same time,
so if you ask questions,
it wouldn't
about
have
the
got
game,
as big as it got because it was still a story before it got to the press
only on social media.
Yeah, no, they mentioned on ESPN and all that too. They mentioned it. They didn't mention it as big as they did once the press conference happened.
They didn't mention it until the press conference happened.
I remember they said something about it, and they said that it was a lot of people said something about it.
What ESPN? What show?
I'm not fucked up. That's
Fox ESPN is
Fox Sports definitely did.
ESPN is so biased too.
Of course,
and that's another thing. They're all like
they both are.
Actually, Fox is less biased because I would argue Fox is less. Fox Sports is because of Shannon and Skip. You can't really tell what they are. I would say Shannon's a liberal all day long. No way Shannon Sharp is conservative.
I don't know.
But ESPN is nothing but liberals over there. Nothing but liberals.
Mm-hmm. They are. Or you don't forget, half the people that's on Fox News came from ESPN. Let's not forget that.
They did. But Fox News gave them more money.
They did give them more money because they were building their network. But they built their name on ESPN doing the same. Colin Cowherd has been the same Colin Cowherd I've known him to be. He don't hold, you know what I'm saying? He has certain feelings, certain views. He tries his best to paint narratives, not to seem biased, but to try to.
Everybody paints narratives.
Yes, but I'm saying what he's doing Fox News, what he's always done ESPN, because you're saying that, you know what I'm saying, ESPN is all left, and it is.
I'm just saying
it is now.
You make it seem like all the accountability leans one way. I'm gonna tell you right now.
I'm pointing to what
liberals are the biggest double standard people on the planet right now. I could pull. If you ever watch my podcast, I call out double standards all day from them.
Got you.
You know, it's accountability on both sides, and there can only be a double standard unless the other side is doing it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it's like everything. I hear liberals all the time be like, well, Republicans are doing this. But it's just like I said with the my body, my choice thing. Y'all like, well, Republicans aren't my body, my choice either. You know, because they against vaccinations. But this is the thing. I know how Republicans are thinking on this. They're thinking totally different. They're thinking like, okay, that body within a body, at some point, we got to decide when is this its own life. And that's the thing. Mankind doesn't get to decide that.
You absolutely.
The laws of nature decide when a life becomes a life.
That's real. That's real. No, nature.
But we can't agree on that.
But on the flip side, well, we can agree somewhat. But on the flip side, to my body, my choice.
I'm not like abortion, society as a whole. They can't agree on like when a life
is a life.
Yeah, because some people say 6 months, 3. Some people say soon as conception.
Well, see, one thing. Well, on the flip side, though, one thing the Republicans always seem to paint a picture when it comes to the abortion rights is, you know what I'm saying, a promiscuous woman who don't want the responsibility of a child no more, or, you know what I'm saying, or a golden woman, or, you know what I'm saying, a woman who's a career woman and thinking, oh, this baby gonna slow me down. I want, you know what I'm saying, do this and that. That's the picture they paint. They don't paint about the victims of SA, you know what I'm saying, that got impregnated, and now, you know what I'm saying, do you make now that they gotta make a decision in mind? Do I want to keep this, to remember this, and put this baby in the world that's crazy? Wait, crazy, or do I want to get rid of it? Or they don't think about, you know what I'm saying, complications that some people have, because not all women can have their baby healthy in the body. Some things happen. So sometimes
I get that, and rape, I would say I agree, you know rape, but this is the problem I have when it comes to this. Is what'd you say? You said some people they probably can't have it and whatnot. But damn, I totally forgot what I was about to say with this. This is the issue I have with it. Man has no choice where the kid's born, right?
I know. And that's a shame.
This is where my issue comes in with all this shit. Then why the hell we don't get the choice whether we want to be a father or not?
That's a shame. That is true. That's a fucked up.
Because there's some guys that they're not cut out to be fathers, or they don't want to be fathers,
and get put in a situation where they got.
But we want to force them to be fathers when they have no choice or say so whether a kid was born. And I can tell you right now, before America, a man always had say so.
Fact.
And that's the thing. We always got to realize America's so young.
20 years.
We don't know what it's fully going to be,
Yeah.
what it's going to end up being. It seems at this point that anything that's traditional American
is getting on attack. And
yeah.
on his mind.
When I seen they was going after Abraham Lincoln, I knew everybody was fair game.
What, Abraham Lincoln?
They want to take down Abraham Lincoln statues. I was like, damn, we're going. I only going a little too far now.
Man, that's. I didn't know about Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah,
that one's kind of tricky.
Yeah, we're going a little too far now.
He did liberate the slaves, but at the same time, it wasn't like his first choice to do so. Like it's been documented.
To be honest, I give old boy more credit than Abraham Lincoln.
Who that?
Ulysses S. Grant, because he had to do all the dirty work.
Yeah, and he fought in the Civil. He
had to do all the dirty work. Yeah, and then when Lincoln got assassinated, he was a drunk of a president, but he tried to keep in that what Lincoln's plan. He tried to. He wasn't that great of a president.
True.
But
like I was saying,
he kept the views and the values going.
Lincoln did that, but at the same time, Lincoln wanted to preserve the Union, and if slavery, if it meant making slavery, basically, if he could have kept slavery and saved the Union, he would have done that.
But this is what okay.
So what I'm saying is it's difficult. I mean, it's kind of complicated for me. It's a little over the top because you know what I'm saying.
This is the problem I have. People talk about Republicans this, Republicans that, but I think like the Democrats have people bamboozled too. First of all, the Democrats were Confederates,
and then they switched. That was when
the Democrats started Jim Crow. They only get credit for you don't get credit for ending something you started.
Well, you do know they switched. Like
that's the thing. You don't get credit for just switching like that.
Understand.
They only switch. And another thing I think is a problem with like civil rights movements is they always attach themselves to the feminist movement. The feminist movement. It's not the feminist movement has convinced civil rights movement, and this is from early, Martin Luther King days.
Oh yeah.
And Reverend Adam Clayton Powell days and all that. They've convinced them it's the same.
It's the same fight.
Yeah, when it's not.
My
and when you attach yourself to the feminist movement, you're not always attaching yourself to a realistic argument.
My opinion, every movement since civil rights has done that to civil rights movement.
Yeah. Well, they're doing it now. They're doing it with the transgender movement.
Yeah.
And they're attaching it to that, and that's bad.
Don't get me wrong. Way back in the day, when this first became, when the gay marriage thing was first starting to get talked about, one thing that used to piss me off a lot, and even as a 17, 18-year-old kid, it used to piss me off when they would compare the gay rights movement to the civil rights movement or the right for fighting for justice. And my mind is, and this might sound messed up to whoever listens.
People were never enslaved because they were gay.
Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? They weren't slaves because they were gay. They weren't murdered because
they
were gay.
And they act like they don't have rights, like they can't get jobs just because they're gay. Like, nobody knows some of these people are gay until they come out with it. Yeah. Unless you're like my former neighbor who was just one of those feminine, gays, and you just know right away.
I mean, like, I never liked that.
Yeah,
I've come to see in certain areas where we're all, because in certain areas we are brothers in the arm in certain degrees, but not to where they try to make it be now. Like even amongst ourselves now, the black community, we're having discussions and things amongst ourselves with the LGBT community of our own. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like it's a war within itself, and that's always been a long ass war, but now it's even bigger. But they always press it to the civil rights movement, or you know what I'm saying, our fight is your fight. When anyone feels oppressed or let down, they come to the blacks and say, yo, we here with you, please stand with us. Until they get their agenda done, then it's all right, we'll see y'all later, bro.
But
you know what I'm saying?
This is the problem I have with the feminist movement. They don't really want equality.
No.
They only want equality in the easiest, simple of places.
They want them,
like they don't want, like, I think Jordan Peterson said this best when he said, if they really want equality, then half of the nurses would go be bricklayers or garbage men or like these jobs that you only see 90-something% men doing. They don't want equality in bricklaying, garbage,
at all.
I never seen too many females doing landscaping.
They just want equality in
the office jobs, the easy jobs, and that's not equality. It's either across the board
or none at all.
So we agree on that. Yeah.
I love my women. You know what I'm saying?
I love women too, but it's
but a lot of that shit. I go back and forth with women about some of that stuff too. At the end of the day,
they don't need this movement.
Yeah, like that's the craziest thing. Like they love to tell you how much they'll need a man, America be independent, this and that. But let the gunshots go off,
or let a man be beating on them, and who they got to call to come help them?
They daddy, they brother. You know what I'm saying?
Another man.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Or when it's just you when you're a single parent by yourself, you got a son, and he don't get to the age where now you can't tell him nothing. What are you looking for? A man to help you ease this. Unless you're just gonna release him to the streets. Well, on our perspective, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I love women, but they don't really think, and nobody really thinks. You know what I'm saying? Because even in the civil rights movement and the black thing now, one of the things that got me so much about Kanye West. You know, we can go to Kanye.
Yeah, we didn't talk about him yet.
One of the things that pissed me off, other than the fact that I was a huge fan of his, that just felt betrayed by some of the shit he was saying. And I'm not even talking the political shit. Yeah, I'm just talking about music and culturally. The 360. You know what I'm saying? The college dropout went from, you know what I'm saying, doing songs with Mos Def, Talib Kweli, making crack music, Jesus Walks. Out of nowhere, you turn your back on the culture and on all everybody does.
Was it the George Floyd thing that got you upset? Some people were upset
that blew me.
The White Lives Matter T-shirt, and then some people were upset by the George Floyd thing, and some people were upset by both. I have my take on the White Lives Matter T-shirt.
You can get to that. I was pissed by all of it. Like I'm trying to explain
all of it. Like
I'm trying to explain the personal level as me as a person, the fan of him first, then to the issues I had with him. Because like I said, dude that made crap music, Jesus Walks, out of nowhere, 20 years later saying all rap is misogynistic, evil shit, and I want nothing to do with it. But you pop up and make another album, pop up trying to name other rappers. Like that's not cool. But then with the political stuff, I've been at Kanye ever since slavery was a choice. That was the most insulting thing.
He does say in the Hitler shit too. That even went. He just tends to put like a cherry on top of the cherry, right?
Like he just puts a cherry on it, and the shit he said. Like the slavery was a choice shit was totally disrespectful. I felt anyone who was black should have felt totally disrespected by that. But a lot of people, half of them anyway, half people I know sided with him and all that shit. And really, a lot of the fight is.
And what did he say about Hitler? He said I respected him or something.
He said he loves Hitler.
He said he loves Hitler. I could understand if you said I understood Hitler.
Yeah, I could somewhat see that too, because.
But when you say like, you make
Hitler and you're a Nazi.
A guy who literally, we don't know what the world would be like the day if Germany would have won the war.
It wouldn't be good. It wouldn't be good for either one of us.
None of us. I don't got blonde hair. I got blue eyes, but I don't got blonde hair.
And honestly, here's a fact, because I'm getting information for anti-Semitism presentation. I'm about to start doing like lectures and shit about it, because I think a lot of people in African American, because people in general, but mainly our community, because just to see the wave of certain things that's happened, I get a sense that some of us really just don't know. Like they go off feelings of who they like and this and that. They don't know the history of everything else.
Well, racism comes from a lot of ignorance anyways.
It does.
It
does. But when it comes to the Nazism and the anti-Semitism, what people understand, what people don't seem to forget about the Nazis is before they sent the Jews to the ghettos, they sent the blacks and the Reinhold bastards into the ghettos. Before they sent them to the camps, they sent the blacks into the camps. That's why there's not many documentations of any of the blacks in Germany. Like they tell you numbers of who were in Germany and this and that, but they don't tell you who they sent to the camps, because they sent them first before they sent the Jews.
This is the issue I have. All that shit you said Kanye said.
Yeah.
I have to defend him on some level, and I'm gonna tell you why.
What's up?
Because I've already had proof and evidence that this censorship is leading over to his music, and you think it stops there?
Oh, you talking about the black bomber?
Yeah, like I've already know for a fact that people are censoring Kanye's music.
Oh yeah. But
and if you think it's gonna stop at Kanye, like hip hop is the most aggressive. Can we agree it's the most aggressive music there is?
Yeah.
I mean, hip hop is saying, I love hip hop, but hip hop right now is saying some of the most heinous shit.
Yeah. And it's all by design. It's all about design. See, this the thing. Because when you speak,
is it all about label design, or somebody like like Chicago rappers? That has nothing to do with label influence.
No, but
that has everything to do with
street influence, street violence. But what happened was the industry. What happened was the industry looked and seen what was going on in Chicago with all the deaths and everything else. But there was some talented kids doing that stuff. Chief Keef, Lil Bibby. They paid attention to them, and then they just over exaggerate the lifestyle to the masses. So now everybody follows.
But that's always been hip hop.
That's always been hip hop, but it's never been to that level. Like,
well, Chicago's a different beast, anyway.
It is,
because LA was some of the birthplace of the gang stuff.
Yeah,
and it never got to the extreme. I don't think that Chicago is at.
It didn't even. It wasn't even. It was lost to the rest of the country. It was lost to the rest of the country until old girl got killed at UCLA. Then California knew about the West Coast, about gang culture, and then the rest of the world followed.
And when you think about what's going on in Chicago, like the gang shit, where it's like they don't take no lead from older cats. There's no leadership. Nobody's listening. Nobody. It's a disconnect. Like the same thing was going on with hip hop, right? You know how one thing I hate is when old schoolers be like the way they shit on the new cats.
Yeah.
Like they'll get mad, like, yo, they don't shout us out enough. They don't get back to the cats before them. But like I was telling to the last cat I interviewed, like, you can't just shit talk these young cats.
And expect them to respect you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's respect comes with respect. You know what I'm saying?
You can't just come at them like, yo, fuck y'all little motherfuckers. Y'all making this whack shit. Y'all don't show no love.
Yeah, personally, that's why I don't blame. I don't blame a lot of these kids for how they act and what they do. I don't blame them because of the older generation before them. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Even when they talk about, like I was watching my XP and Melly Mel and Melly Mel and Grandmaster Caz brought how I feel about respect when it comes to them. Like, even if you didn't listen to their music, you wasn't, you know what I'm saying, you might not have been born or whatever, you got paid music. There's still a level of respect you're supposed to give to them because without them doing what they did, especially in Melly Mel, Grandmaster Caz, fucking Kumo D, like there's certain dudes, like you gotta give them ultimate respect because without them doing what they did, there is none of us.
And they don't even get respect to none of the cats they even listen to.
Yeah.
Like, that they even seem like they might, because I think these old schoolers act like we influenced them when we didn't.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't really have this influence over that generation that we think. And they were influenced more by the Lil Waynes, like the hot boys of the world.
But Lil Wayne is of our generation. Lil Wayne's
he is, but he's not really of my generation.
Oh, he's not. I know what you're talking about.
I'm 43 years old. He's not really of my generation. You know?
But
and that's the thing, like because we went through the list, like if you go through from like look at the 80s, you only had about 3 or 4 cats that made it to the next 10 years.
Fact.
And you look at the 90s, you had 3 or 4 cats that made it into the 2000s. Now we're getting to the point where these cats might even make it further, man.
True.
Because now with your monetization of everything, even when you run out of like your music doesn't so much pop no more.
Yeah.
You could just still do the regular content.
Mm-hmm.
Like, where's my man? Odell Beckham Jr. getting all those money for per post. They could just do that without,
making music and all that.
And that's the thing. I think that's why they're in such a better place now with the branding and
it's always be careful what you wish for. Because back in the day, hip hop wished it had the clout in the industry. It wish it had, the respect from Billboard. True. A lot of them dudes wish they can get their songs played even by local radio back in those days.
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying? The niggas, even back then, these always say we need this, and that, this, and that. Now we're at the point where it's all that. Well, it's all of that for them, but at the same time, there was a disconnect between respect of the craft, the respect of the culture. Because along the lines, money became the common denominator in everything. It went from being creative, doing you, to, saying, can you make a hit record? Can you make a hit record? Then it went from that to, well, can you transition this into this and make your bread? You know what I'm saying? And then it went to, well, music is not just the only thing we can do. We can do podcasts. We can do, we can do fucking skill share.
What I think is going on? And I was telling somebody, there's one element that came back more into it that we didn't have heavy in the 90s. Maybe the early 90s, but mid-90s, late 90s, we wasn't dancing a lot. We was head bobbing.
Yeah.
These new cats, there's a lot more dancing going on.
Yeah.
And when I think of the production, to me, we're like we're back in the 80s again.
Somewhat.
The the beats are so simple.
Mm-hmm.
The rhymes, the word plays simple. you know, you don't hear people using like big words that you got to go and look up in the dictionary no more. It's just, you know, simple down, man.
Manny Fresh, DJ Paul, and Juicy J don't get the credit and respect they deserve, and Pimp C for the sonic foundation they laid for future generations. Because if you can listen to these songs, and if you're really into it, you can see the influence of that, of those original sounds and modern music. And you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I don't hate the kids. I don't blame the kids for nothing.
You think Migos had anything to do with that too?
Migos? Oh yeah, Migos too. Yeah.
I mean, are they one of the biggest impact people in hip hop, you think?
Oh yeah.
They had a big impact on the culture, right?
Look, bro, I had underestimated the Migos for so long.
I did too. It
took until Takeoff's passing, rest in peace.
No, I actually, it was before I stopped underestimating them. But I was underestimating them at first too. I wasn't catching on what everybody was saying, and then I started realizing, okay.
No, it went for me. It went from oh God, another corny ass simple trap shit to okay, maybe the dudes got something here.
They're like the DOS effects of their time, though.
It is. I was too. Look, bro, I do have a New York bias. I do, and it was stronger years ago. Like stronger, like especially.
I've never had a heavy New York bias because I listened to West Coast music heavy. Mm-hmm. Like you said, the Ghetto Boys. We was copping 8-ball MJGs.
Yeah. My bias was more self-defense because I left New York in 2001. So when I moved to New Orleans, and especially more in New Orleans than here, because around here.
And that's why you got big on the Hot Boys in New Orleans.
No, I was big on Hot Boys when I lived in New York, and that's why when we
How big was the Hot Boys in New York?
I wasn't big. Like they wasn't competing with Rough Riders and
what was the biggest non-New York act that you remember
from up there?
Yeah.
No Limit had a run. Like
so they love No Limit up in New York?
97, 98, make them say and all that shit for a quick second. You know what I'm saying?
And he put out a shit ton of people.
And then the Hot Boys came out. It grabbed me and certain people, but not a lot of people. But when Sipping on Scissor came out, then it started a rainstorm on Scissor. Then it started a rainfall around my area by nigga. Because then not too long after that, Luda came out. And you know what I'm saying?
I love Luda.
Like there was just a bunch of like there was that little window of Southern artists came in that time that where I was at before I left, niggas really start giving South their props.
Luda definitely had up north influence going on inside.
You know what I'm saying? And my shit was more self-defense when I moved to New Orleans because I was in New Orleans battle rapping dudes, and all of them would sound like either BG, Lil Wayne, or Soulja Slim when they freestyle battle. And I'm sitting there going my regular off the top, no, your mama bitch, this and that. And they go, well, I'm a soldier, man. And the whole crowd will be rocking with these niggas. And I'll be getting mad. I'm like, y'all ain't hear what this nigga saying? He ain't saying nothing. Girls dancing, niggas, this and that. This in New York, you lost. Man, fuck y'all niggas, man.
I got a crazy story like that. I did a show at the 710 drag strip out there in Robinson County.
Yeah.
And there was like an enter at your own risk sign and everything. I didn't know where I was going. My homeboy like, yo, I'm gonna take you to the show, but you don't know where you're going. We get out there. I was like, yo, did that just say enter at your own risk? He's like, I told you don't know where you're going. He actually had to leave me out there because he was in the military. I had to get back, and I had to ride back though. There was these dudes out here rapping over B.I.B. Lil John. I think that was Lil John, right?
Yeah.
And they were rapping, I hang, I lay, sheet rock.
And
everybody out there knew the words,
bro. That's what I be saying, bro.
And then I come out there like chicka chicka chicka, Paul Masson. I know you heard of me. The name ring bells. I know you heard of me. You hear some doing in the background. I ain't never heard of your motherfucking ass. And I'm like, oh, now I got to jump off stage and do the Paul Masson thing. But it was like, yeah, man, what the fuck? Like do they really
like New York bias for the New York bias I grew up on? The bias is mostly. Because, you know, I'm coming from the ashes of the East Coast, West Coast, where you had some of the biggest West Coast artists talking shit on my home state. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, I don't know no better. I'm a damn kid. I'm like, I love you, Snoop. I like Pac. You know what I'm saying? I like Ice Cube. Like, what the fuck y'all coming at me? My home. But, you know what I'm saying? I ain't think nothing of it. But we coming from that, too, where niggas felt like niggas was coming for New York's heads a lot. And when somebody say something, especially when we say F and you put New York into it, niggas jump up like, whoa, wait. You know what I'm saying? Down here, you know what I'm saying? When I moved down here, you know what I'm saying? At first, it was cool because, you know what I'm saying? I got a lot of relatives around here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. A lot of people.
Everybody from New York got
relatives in North Carolina. Oh, God.
We're related. Everybody. New York and North Carolina are cousins.
Welcome to the Tar State, a.k.a. the cousin state, nigga.
Everybody got cousins in New York and North Carolina.
At first, it was cool. But then once 2005, 2006 hit, You know what I'm saying? When Lil Wayne became the biggest rapper in the world, when Jeezy first came out.
Is that around when he got out?
When D4L,
the jail, when he went into jail, right? That's around time he started getting the biggest.
When fucking Laffy Taffy hit, I went to college in South Carolina.
Taffy.
Bro, I hated that song. I grew to love it only because of the experiences I've had with the women in college of that damn song. You know what I'm saying? A lot of songs
those
like
are the smartest artists, though.
Yeah, they were.
Cupid was like that. The Cupid Shuffle. Teach Me How to Dougie. They blew up on the school tour. Like, these cats always come out with these dance songs. They're going, like, and that's the thing. Sometimes I hate when people always be like, they're selling out. How do we know they're selling out?
And what is a sellout?
Yeah, like, I don't like that. Yeah, I don't like that either.
Like, I call, like, when I call Kanye sellout, I call Kanye sellout because he betrayed not only the fans, he betrayed the culture. He betrayed certain people that rocked with him and believed in him to go a different way.
Kanye's pissing off a lot of people.
You know what I'm saying? That's a sellout. But a nigga who rap and make music, and then, you know, like MC Hammer, we use an example because we all know
that's a good one. He was a sellout.
He's the passion of the Christ.
You would never say it was face though.
He's the passion of the Christ of rap superstar.
Yeah,
he was the first one that the entertainment industry said, you know, we can make some money off this rap guy. And what happened? Every single rapper that was popping at the time went to his neck. Like, what the hell wrong with you, bro? This hip hop, man. We don't do no damn commercials.
Vanilla Ice was even more of a sellout for following MC Hammer.
Well, you know, his movie sucked. I don't know if you've seen Cold, like that movie sucked. But you know what I'm saying? Yeah, like they did that, and every rapper, Ice Cube, fucking Public Enemy, all these people, the same ones who 5 years later will end up being actors and producers in movies and everything else, shitted on that man. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because at the time, hip hop was so young and so fresh, and it was really big on artistic integrity.
That's the thing. We lean on this art thing, and we forget we're not really in the art business.
Yeah, we're in the
entertainment business
to make money.
You know, and so we lean on that a little bit too much.
But all it takes is for people to make stuff cool. Because for everything MC Hammer went through, you know what I'm saying? Jay-Z made it cool to be a business brand. You know what I'm saying? Outkast to a certain degree, because nigga, I didn't realize throwback jerseys was a thing until I started seeing Outkast.
I always talked about that. The first album they had the jerseys on, and the second album they was even jerseyed up. They was totally different, man.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So that was the first one.
They definitely made the Atlanta jersey super pop.
Like a lot of people, like over time, people made it cool. You know what I'm saying, which is not always a bad thing. Well, my whole problem with hip hop for the most part is there was never certain things established and rooted, and you know what I'm saying, like. You know what I mean? Like, one, respect where this stuff come from. Two, make your money, but also give back into this community. Yeah. Like, there is no reason. I don't care what nobody can convince me otherwise. There's no reason why, you know what I'm saying, Kool Herc, why, even with the shit he been through, and I usually don't say his main name, but Bambaataa, Flash, you know what I'm saying, Melly Mel, like, there's no reason why these people should struggle for anything. Every artist, I don't care how niggas feel, every artist should at least take about 5% of what they make and be like, here you go, bro. Here you go, OGs. Thank y'all. Thank you for blessing us. You know what I'm saying? Something to help build later. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I think old school is messed up? Like, those names you're talking about right there, I think they thought this shit was going to last forever. Like, they were just going to be able to rap to the end of time and didn't understand the longevity of music and sounds and your specific sound as, you know, an individual. Because back in the 90s, I mean, a lot more original sound. I think that's another thing that we're really missing is nobody's coming out with new sounds. If we had people coming out with new sounds, would be like, okay, a new sound.
It's difficult because everything's been done. Yeah. Everything's been done. Like, I tell everybody all the time, everything's been done. So don't come in here trying to, like, if you want to be different, if you were talented, if you're talented enough to find and develop your own style that nobody's ever done before, I'm all for that.
It's like the NBA dunk contest. Yeah, it's like what more dunks can you do at this point?
So it's all about. So for me, it's all about, you know what I'm saying, just being true to who you are and what you represent. If you want to come rapping straight from the streets and talk about all that stuff, long as you are responsible with how you do that, I'm all with it. If you want to come conscious, kicking knowledge, I'm with it. If you just want to hang, if you just want to go to the club and get drunk, get laid all night, I'm with it. You know what I'm saying? Just be creative, original in what you're doing, and show the proper respect to the culture. Because nobody teaches the respect. Nobody teaches. Niggas say respect the culture all the time, but nobody really practices respecting the culture. Yeah. Because all it takes is a nigga with more money than anybody else to say something, and anybody who wants a piece of that dollar is gonna follow that narrative.
Don't you think the old schoolers are the ones that need to hand out the olive branch though?
They do. I think a lot of that is
because they've shit talked the younger cats too long.
Yeah, they do. And I think it's starting to get there because you start to see like,
and it's kind of like a sense of entitlement the old schoolers have. Like they feel like they should be entitled to get, you know, love and respect.
right.
You know, and everybody's not always respectful cats too. We got to take that. And
I don't say every old school rapper don't deserve don't deserve respect. Like just like,
yeah, because I hate when everybody acts like everybody from the 90s is like some legend.
Yeah.
Like legendary, you know.
Yeah,
like this cat only had one album. Yeah. What are we talking about here?
The thing with that is I hate when people do that only because they don't just be honest and say this is my opinion or this, like when somebody say that they say it as if it's supposed to be something to agree with. Like, you know,
like everybody from the 90s can't be legendary
at all. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, you know what I'm saying, like at all. Now, when you think of the 90s or some point in the 90s, you can think of that group or think of that artist. You know what I'm saying?
But it's like saying a guy who played the bitch in his whole career of basketball is a legend.
Huh?
It's like saying a guy who played the bitch his whole career of basketball is a legend. They all can't be legends.
No.
But there's levels to this shit.
There's levels, but then also it depends on what they've done, whatever's on the bench. Because
I mean, like you said, some people might think he's a legend to them.
Yeah, Jason Terry, like, Benny Johnson. You know what I'm saying?
Like I would never look at I would never look at Rotten Rascals as hip hop legends.
Oh, you brought it back. Dang, what time for you? I ain't even know nobody who knew what that was, man. That's what's up.
I was playing that joint on the run. But like there's just certain cats that they only had like one album, one thing, and it's like you're not really a legend.
Nah.
You're not really a legend.
Yeah, like nobody's walking around calling Milkbone a legend. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, Milkbone, that's another one. Yeah. But Eminem, you know, maybe
Em's a legend.
Yeah, Eminem, maybe Everlast.
Yeah, because you can't.
They play the House of Pain on every.
You can't discredit whatever, like what you know what I'm saying. Like when it comes to white rappers, like white MCs, I feel like anyone who was rapping before 2000, you really gotta give them credit and give them respect for the fact that they were doing it at a time where there wasn't a lot like them that were doing it. Yeah. And there wasn't a lot like them, and maybe the perception of a white rapper wasn't as, you know what I'm saying? Because MC Search. Niggas say, people say they want MC Search, but MC Search history, he has done more.
He's a legend. He's a legend.
He has done a lot in the culture.
He's a legend. Nas, executive producer for Nas albums.
Yeah.
He's done a lot. Yeah. And I'm glad you said that too. Because this is something that Eminem against the hip hop. When I hear that shit, I'm ready to fist fight anybody. I don't care who it is.
You know what? I'm gonna bring it back to, you know, something you was talking about.
Because you say MC Search. I mean, like what he did for Nas, and like really, we're gonna Rick. When the people say guest in hip hop, I say two words: Rick Rubin. Rick Rubin. That's like my what? Rick Rubin. So Rick Rubin's a guest in hip hop. And that's what we're saying.
Not at all.
And that's the gets under my skin so much. If there's anything I'm sensitive about, is when I hear somebody say Eminem's a guest in hip hop.
I feel you on that because, like I said, I love, like when I tell people I love hip hop, I don't think people understand how much I love this shit. I love everything about it.
And I'm not like diehard Eminem fan. I like Slim Shady, not the new Eminem. So I'm not. It's not like I'm some diehard Eminem fan. I don't even like a lot of his newer stuff. Yeah, you know. But it's like we're gonna call the best-selling guy
a guest in the culture.
Yeah, it's like,
and it's not even
Embiid not making all-star starters when he leads the league and scoring right now. What the fuck is going on?
Man, look, bro, like I said, I love hip hop, so I've listened to a lot of hip-hop. Like I said earlier, some people who have been big.
And hip hop's a unifier, right? Yeah, it is. It's not a divider. It's a unifier.
It's never been a divider. It's been a unifier.
Yeah.
The industry has made it a divider. But back to the thing about, you know what I'm saying, Eminem and white rappers, like Idea. I don't even know Idea is.
Yeah, Idea.
That's one of my favorite MCs of all time. I feel that's one of the most talented MCs God ever put in this earth.
I'm big on nonfiction. Ill Bill.
Ill Bill too. You know what I'm saying? I fuck with Ill Bill. Sub Rock. I just talked to Sub Rock on.
I used to
Instagram.
Bump these dudes mad flavor back in the days. They had a joint called Spread the Butter, spread the butter, baby. All white dudes. They had like kind of like a rock and roll hip hop kind of feel. I mean, you got Company Flow.
LP is my hero. LP
and look what's going on with him and Killer Mike. I mean, like
one of the biggest groups in the game.
That was Killer Mike and them reinvented themselves with a group, and Killer Mike is probably. He's had a nice, interesting career too.
LP and Killer Mike, that's what makes the
I would have never
dynamic.
thought I'd seen that.
I didn't either, but once you see it and once you start
If
thinking
it,
more,
you understand it.
the way
You
that,
get
you know what I'm saying, the way that they brought their music, because Killer Mike, everybody knows him from working with Outkast and being on the Billboard.
Yeah.
But once that fell through,
And I ain't never scared.
That man underground grind is ridiculous. He was grinding them tapes. You know what I'm saying? While everybody was still talking about 2 Chainz and everybody else, Killer Mike was going quality mixtapes. LP is if you know East Coast underground hip hop or alternative, the ASAP Rocks, the Cages, LP is a legend. He's one of my favorites. And when I seen them two come together, it was like a match made in heaven because they're basically two sides of the same coin.
Well, I remember when Company Flow came out, I wasn't a big fan of them, but I remember the reaction everybody else in hip hop had around me in Fayetteville stuff because their sound was like so different and unique. And I think they made people have to start doing different sounds. Let's get on the Vietnam and North Carolina hip hop. A lot of people think.
But I mean, before you get your question, I never put my thing about Eminem joint. I don't like the fact people call Eminem against hip hop because he's not. It's not like he's Asher Roth. No disrespect to Asher Roth, but he's not like Asher Roth, one of these dudes that just came in the industry and didn't even pay dues because nigga, it's well documented the dudes Eminem has paid.
Oh yeah, he had to go through some cats.
You know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, very few people.
He was battling everybody,
and very few people his position put on the type of artist he put on. He put on, you know what I'm saying? He put on D12.
Yeah.
He put on Royce the 5'9". He helped Griselda get out there.
He pretty much mainstream Detroit hip hop.
He mainstream raw hip hop.
Yeah.
Not Detroit, but you know what I'm saying? Like Eminem's a fan.
But was there any Detroit hip hop cats really big before him?
Before him? No, I think the biggest was Kid Rock because Kid Rock had a little following.
And he's not really hip hop.
He's not really hip hop, but he had
so
a following.
he really mainstream it. And you got Danny Brown that came out afterwards.
Danny Brown, that's my dog.
There was a couple other cats I thought I seen. Big Sean's from Detroit. You know, there probably is none of these cats without him right now.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? He was just a product of the underground scene then because when he was doing the ciphers and everything else, Slum Village is in there.
Yeah.
Elzai, one of the most respected lyricists in hip hop. He can tell you some.
That's right. Slum Village is from Detroit too.
He tells niggas stories all the time about young Eminem going to clubs and earning his respect. You know what I'm saying? And as to be like Fayetteville, Detroit. Anyway, I love hip hop because it does that with anywhere. Anywhere in this country, there could be a town or city anywhere where there is a hip hop community. People, a lot of them not even doing it for the money, just for the love of the shit, but they get together. They do ciphers, they do battles, they make performances. You know what I'm saying? They promote their stuff all around, even to the people who don't want to hear it, but they build their communities. One thing about Fayetteville, as industry-wise, we're almost there because there's a lot of artists here who are talented and have. You know
Do you think we're almost there? I don't think we're almost there.
We're almost there in terms of certain artists, like Shotty Yellow.
This is the problem I think we have. A lot of people think Fayetteville is the most talented city, and I could probably agree with that. But this is the problem I have. We can't be the hub of North Carolina.
Oh, no.
It has to be Charlotte. And so we have to take our Fayetteville movement to Charlotte. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
We gotta have some collective of Fayetteville cats make an impact in Charlotte if we really want Fayetteville to be, because we got to help Charlotte too. North Carolina as a whole. I mean, Raleigh, Durham, it's got a lot of good talent over there. You got Ninth Wonder, Little Brother, all those cats. But even they can't be the front runners.
No, they can't, but.
Because that's why, it has to be Charlotte. That's why a lot of people frown on J. Cole for signing a Charlotte cat, Luke, and not a Fayetteville cat. I don't have a problem with that. I also think the problem Fayetteville has is it's a military town. We're never really going to get the fan support inside the city that we expect.
Never.
Because there's too many people that got homeboys back home that can rap. They think can rap better than us. Got a homeboy in Oklahoma can rap better. Kansas. But we got somebody from every city and every state in Fayetteville.
Oh, yeah. And
that's the thing. We're a melting pot of the whole U.S. So none of them are really going to get behind Fayetteville because they're not actual like Vietnamese, as I like to call.
Vietnam.
We're about almost 2 hours in. I'm about to get to this last question.
Can I answer that one though?
Huh?
You want me to answer that before you got the last question? Or? My bad.
What was the?
I'm saying the question you asked about Fayetteville.
Oh yeah, I thought you kind of got into it, like you were saying.
I did, but I didn't get.
Yeah, you get more into it.
I wanted to because you know what I'm saying. Like I was saying, talent wise, because I'm saying like shout to Yolo Rule.
I love Yolo Rule.
Shout out to Moray.
Rumble is one of my favorite tracks.
Shit, shout out to Niecy Brown. Like this,
I don't know all these new cats though. Like that.
I've been subbing it to him. You know what I'm saying? But there's some talent here.
There always has been.
And I agree with you that, you know what I'm saying, that Fayetteville won't do it just by itself, that we'll need, you know what I'm saying, that we'll need to go to Charlotte. You know what I'm saying? I think really North Carolina itself, because there's so many scenes
in the fast growing state too.
Yeah, and there's so many scenes in the state. We got Fayetteville scene, we got Charlotte,
we got universities,
we got
beach scene, Wilmington. There's a lot of places that do
rap.
Yeah, so, a lot of places you can go and get things done. But cats always concerned like they're always staying in the city. They're never out.
Because a lot of niggas follow, because a lot of niggas again have that rapper dream. That dream of being signed to being the guy, being the face of their town, this and that. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, when Cole first got signed, I'll tell you this.
I didn't even know who he was.
I didn't mean either. I'd never seen him, never knew who he was.
I had seen him before because I knew him as a therapist from the Fair and Bombers compilation. I met him once before.
And the crazy part that is, I knew the therapist through the cannabis.com.
But I never heard of J. Cole. Like, I never heard of J. Cole. And I'm like, J. Cole from Fayetteville. So who the fuck? That was my exact words. Who the fuck is J. Cole? I never heard of this cat. And then when I see the picture, I'm like, the therapist.
Fact.
Then I put 2 and 2 together. I get 4, and I'm like, okay, this makes sense now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, then I hear the backstory, you know, the Mark Pitts being his manager. Mark Pitts managed Biggie and Tracy Lee, you know, and then I put 2 and 2 together again, and I'm like, who does Jay-Z dick ride the most? Biggie.
Yes, sir.
So it's got to be easy for Biggie's manager to call the biggest Biggie Smalls dick rider on the planet.
I got somebody for you.
And, you know, I got somebody for you, which came out to be the biggest artist that Jay-Z ever signed as a rapper. Well, we agree.
Cole?
Yeah, bigger than Myth Bleak and Ben Siegel.
Yeah, but he also did sign Kanye. So I was, you know what I'm saying? Like,
he did sign Kanye.
Him and
Dame Dash did. He didn't believe in Kanye first.
I get the same.
He didn't believe in Kanye first. I can't give him the credit. He tried to take credit later because he saw what Dame Dash saw, and you know.
I see you.
Yeah, Dame Dash saw that.
Cole's the greatest. You know what I'm saying? No disrespect, Cole. You know what I'm saying? I always just looked at Kanye as one.
And Kanye is literally came up faster than anybody I've ever seen.
Facts. You know what I'm saying?
Like money wise, financially wise, because Jay-Z is a billionaire, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Kanye signs. Kanye is a billionaire already.
Yeah, 10 years after the fact.
Yeah, Jay-Z took Jay-Z like 30-something years to do what Kanye did in 10 years and whatnot.
But see, the thing is, you know what I'm saying, with Fayetteville, I said this before, everybody wants to be the one to open the door for everybody, so they say, but they really just want to be the guy to unlock it, open it, you know what I'm saying, and they say, I want to be the first. No, they want to be the first ones to go through the door.
They want to be what my new single is called, King of the City.
You know what I'm saying? For real.
And that being King of the City is...
It's not 2004.
Unless you're in Houston, you know, somewhere where you could just... Or like South by Southwest, Austin, Texas, where you got a trillion venues.
Yeah. Like,
we don't even got enough venues to, like, say, being King of the City.
It's more reputation than small-minded mind state, you know what I'm saying, music-wise. And I love to see people.
I think there's a lack of ambition too.
A lot of people think I don't love the city. Or I don't like the artists in the city.
And you don't really have to be obligated because you're from somewhere else.
Yeah, but I'm a hip hop head, and I've paid attention to Fayetteville hip hop since I was a teenager. Like
North Carolina in general, though. I mean, with P.D. Pablo, the Baby, J. Cole, Little Brother. Right. Then the R&B side, Fantasia, Anthony Hamilton, Casey and JoJo. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've had plenty of talent.
Right, man. Matter of fact, my birthday last August.
Even Luther Vandross is from North Carolina. He don't claim it.
He from where?
He was born in North Carolina.
Hey.
So is Jermaine Dupri. Garth Brooks, if I'm not mistaken, too.
Jeezy.
There's a lot of cats that was, and we had Black Sheep. You know, in the early days, went to Fayetteville State University and shouted out Fayetteville.
That's what we should have talked about. The Spotify lawsuit with Black Sheep.
Oh yeah,
because the Black Sheep wins that. That's one of the greatest days in hip hop history, and I'm proud that it's gonna be Black Sheep to do it.
And that's interesting because you know Spotify gave them equity. Because, and I try to tell people, I always said there's no way Spotify can afford to pay out this money every day. These major artists are getting shit tons of streams.
Yeah.
Not even just majors. Cats like, I mean, Black Sheep's getting around 500,000 listeners a month on Spotify.
Yeah.
That's not counting other platforms. So Yeah, man, I don't think this streaming shit is gonna last long, and I think this lawsuit proves it.
Yeah, it's not.
Because they had to, why did they have to give them equity if they couldn't, if they could afford to pay out the royalties? They couldn't afford to pay out the royalties.
Yeah.
So they said, we'll give you equity on the back end. And actually, Universal's getting sued too, because Universal's supposed to be paying the artists.
Yeah.
They probably gave Universal the money for payout equity, and Universal probably ain't paid the artists like Universal. But still, this is very interesting. Like,
I can see that.
Artists owe equity in Spotify. Equity goes up. They don't get the equity. And Black Sheep happens to be the only people that catch this.
Oh, yeah, man. Dred's been going low key. He's been going to war with the music industry for years. That's why he ain't been dropping stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So I've always been saluting him. And to be honest, the pay wage for these, you know, I don't know what distributions you got, but these pay rates for these distributions are crappy. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you get, like, I remember at one time, I had got 5,000 streams in a month, and I think I got like, I don't even think I got $6 out of it.
On which platform? Spotify?
It was Spotify.
Spotify pays out the lowest though, and they got the biggest. They're the only one that's got a big playlist though.
Yeah, and that's why
Napster pays out. You know,
they
like,
pay the most.
Yeah, in Tidal. You know, because I had some Napster payouts recently, and it was like couple $100 in just Napster payouts because they pay out like $9 per 1,000.
Yeah, I did
and whatnot.
You know what I'm saying? I was just speaking. Well, I'm speaking on Spotify,
but they all pay out more than
Spotify.
Than Pandora was paying out originally.
Oh yeah, Pandora's some bullshit.
But now Pandora's raised it up though. They're a lot better now.
Yeah, but they need to
add my music. Paying out more than YouTube too.
Add my music to your playlist, fucking Pandora.
They were also paying out more than YouTube too.
Really? Because YouTube been well for me and my team.
Now, at first, but YouTube used to not pay out. They had to start paying out more.
Yeah, they did. Yeah,
these places got to start competing and whatnot. All right, I'm gonna get to this last question. Okay. This is from Bomb Shelters. Asked this on the podcast, and anytime I have anybody that's hip hop, I gotta ask this question out. Okay. I don't know the guy that told Bomb Shelters, but shout out to Bomb Shelters guy. Shout out to this guy that thought of the question, and shout out to Bomb Shelters. But I love this question now because when they first asked me this question, I was dumbfounded. I couldn't come up with an answer. And then after I started talking to people about it, like answers started coming out. People was giving answers. If an alien life form landed on Earth and you had to play one song for him to tell the story of hip hop, what song would you play?
Tell the story of hip hop?
Yeah.
One song.
Bomb Shelter said "Juicy" by Big. I thought that was a pretty good one.
That is a good one, but
it was all a dream. But just to be one of them. But I couldn't think of nothing at the time. Stranger the Great said "Shook Ones" by Mobb Deep, even though that's one of my favorite songs at all time. He was going for more of a hip hop, the sound that just represents hip hop. I think Bomb Shelter was going more for like the song talking about hip hop.
Yeah.
So I kind of went that route. I said "Old School" by Tupac. What more can I say? I wouldn't be here today if the old school didn't pay.
And nothing like the old school.
Do you have one that you could think of?
I just thought of it right now, and you know what I'm saying? The show. Slick Rick,
Dougie Fresh, the show. That's a good one.
If I want to give them, like, I want to say, this is what this represents hip hop, like just in its purest form.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
My last interview had a good one too. He said, "Common, I used to love her."
Oh yeah.
Like, I was like, that's a good one too.
All the answers are great answers, bro. Like those are.
I couldn't think of nothing at first when it like I was like, damn.
You had me too.
And then when he said "Juicy Big," I was like, okay, I see where he's going with this now. And then I thought about it later after the interview. Was like, yeah, I got mine. Mine would be Tupac, Old School, because he was naming all those names. Yeah. He had the timeline,
bro. Shook Ones
I love that joint.
Shook Ones is probably the most.
They played that on 8 Mile Heavy, didn't they? Mm-hmm. That's why that's a good one, because they played that on 8 Mile Heavy.
Like Shook Ones is probably the personification sonically of what.
Yeah, but hip hop should sound like. Eminem definitely thought so, right?
Nothing like the old school. Nothing but the old school is like the perfect representation of giving props and giving history of, you know what I'm saying, or what it is. Juicy, the ultimate rags to riches story.
Yeah,
ever.
Yeah.
To me, you know what I'm saying, for me, the show is just like the embodiment of, if you take all the stuffing, all the extra stuff out the way, and say what is hip hop in its pure form, Thug and Fresh, Slick Rick, the show. just they're not even in the studio. They at some fucking concert hall or something, just fucking rock a whole song for 8 minutes.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of hip hop. You know what I'm saying? That's my favorite thing about hip hop. You can make anything. Me and you can bang on this table. It may be like have your dog
hip hop would use video games and all types of stuff that nobody was thinking about.
Facts.
We pushed the envelope and tried new things and whatnot. You got new music coming out?
We have our B-side coming. We don't have an official date for the B-side, but it's coming soon. We have our album we dropped last year, Hunting Season. What was that called?
Hunting Season. Where's that available on all the streaming platforms?
All streaming platforms.
And what do they look under? Is it a group name?
Yeah, Wolfpack 910.
Wolfpack 910. That's y'all's group name.
Yeah.
Are y'all NC State fans?
NC State. Well, I mean, no, not like that. I mean, I respect.
I'd rather you say you're an NC State fan than a Duke fan.
See,
I saw a guy wearing a Carolina toboggan the other day, the Duke Blue Devil thing.
You went up on me.
And I wanted to punch him in his mouth so bad.
Yo.
And I'm pretty sure Duke fans would have felt the same damn way. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, I think Duke fans and Carolina fans both would agree that was some shameful shit.
Yeah, y'all like the gang. You know what I'm saying?
The light blue gang and dark blue gang.
Y'all like a gang for
I know, right?
Irrespective of age, because it's old people. I got cursed out one time. For having a Duke shirt by somebody, and I had looked at him like, bro, I don't care about this fucking shirt, bro. I'm not even, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, I don't care about this stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are you talking about? I thought, man, you ain't shit, bro. You gonna come in that stupid shit in my I don't care, sir. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care. But yeah, man, we'll have to shout my bros for
what's your socials too? Tell them your socials.
Shit. Hey, Facebook, Daryl Walker, Instagram.
Y'all got a fan page?
Oh, we do got it. We got a group. We got a Facebook page, a Facebook fan page, Hip Hop Cinema.
Hip Hop Cinema. Okay, y'all don't got one from the Wolfpack 910?
No, we don't got one Wolfpack.
Okay.
We try to do things like Ruckus and Rhyme Sayers, like really try to do it, you know what I'm saying, small and make it builder, because it's only me, my bros, and our partner, True Music Management, doing everything. So we're totally self-financed, self-motivated, self-pushed. You know what I'm saying?
Any other socials you got? YouTube, Twitter?
Oh, yeah. Hip Hop Center Presents on YouTube. My Twitter, DWalk_85, if you still use Twitter. My Facebook, Daryl Walker. If you are my Facebook friend or you on Facebook and you see somebody say something random about Kevin Durant, that's probably me. You know what I'm saying?
Why? You don't like Kevin Durant?
Man, no. I respect this game. He's a great offensive player.
I'm not a big fan of him either.
But it's just certain on some G stuff, I just couldn't respect some of the stuff.
He's kind of soft, right?
Super soft.
He's got to be one of the most sensitive athletes I've ever seen to have to get on line and have burner accounts and stuff. And
I don't know where you are in the Michael Jordan, LeBron James debate. I don't know. But a lot of my friends who are Michael Jordan fans who try to clown LeBron because of the flopping and all the other stuff. And I would see them back this man. And I'm like, you don't see this man. Every time he get conflict with somebody, he's not trying to face them.
My problem with LeBron's aren't on the court. My problem with LeBron are off the court. Like some of the stances he took. Like I didn't agree with the stance with the cop when that girl was going to stab that girl to death. And he acted like the cop should just sit there and grab a bucket of popcorn and watch the show.
You're talking about, the young girl.
She was going like I know if anything I know about stabbings, nobody gets stabbed once.
Yeah. You're
getting shanked. When you get stabbing somebody, you're going to shake the shit out of them. And people die quicker off of stabbings than shootings. You know, you liable to punch. And he acted like his stance was like the cop should just, grab a bucket of popcorn, let the girl get stabbed, and then
do something after the fact.
Yeah, and I'm like, whoa, that doesn't sound too humane to me. And so I don't have any beef with him on the court.
Yeah.
I just think, once again, your business. You take a political stance. You're alienating too many. You're alienating half your consumer base.
True.
And I just think like that's the dumbest thing to do. It doesn't matter, And that's the thing with sports. I've always said this about sports too. When I watch sports, I don't want politics in my sports. I don't want to be lectured, Do that on your own social media time. You know what I'm saying? But they don't do it on their own social media time. They bring all the politics into sports, and then it gets less entertaining when you're trying to shame me and lecture me and talk about morals and values, and
Mhm.
it's like even with like the dude, you had the dudes that didn't want to kneel that got shunned out of the NBA. I don't know if you've seen that.
Mhm.
The dude who played for the Miami Heat, Miles Leonard.
Yeah.
He didn't want to kneel because he had family that died in the service.
Mhm.
Just as people are sensitive about why they're kneeling, there's people just as sensitive about that American flag because now people
'Cause nationalism is strong here.
yeah, people have actually put the American flag and the Confederate flag as like the same thing.
People, and I know
They've combined it.
People who do that, those are the people who I when I speak a certain tone, a certain way about certain people, those are the people I'm in.
And we're in a military town, like bomb shelters. Like we were talking about this, like how many military people would come up to them and be like, "Yo, love your name," and I'm like, "Damn, this is kind of when you think about it, this is probably a conservative brand."
It is
not intentionally,
not intentionally.
But conservatives would, love that brand. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's the thing that gets me with the liberals when they go after Christianity. Okay, y'all going after Christianity, but y'all don't even believe in the laws of nature or nothing. So what values and beliefs are you weighing on? If you're not weighing on Christianity, Islam, or the laws of nature, you're weighing on nothing.
And that's the choice. That's the choice.
And we all gotta believe in something, right?
Yeah, it's true. That's the choice. That's the choice you give when you want to put on that side. There's, you know what I'm saying? Because you gotta look at it. It's either left godliness or left this godliness or a lack thereof, respect for God, or the right where they have misused it. And they, you know what I'm saying? They basically made it all legitimate business. Because you know what I'm saying? That's why so many churches follow Republican leaders.
Yeah, but I would argue that this attack on Christianity is going to get Islam to go on the side of Christianity. Because you think Islamic people in America, I think Islamic people in America align more with conservatives, Christians, than they do with people on the far left. Because their religious values are far more. Yeah. They follow their religions even deeper. Yeah. Christians are far more hypocrites, double standards. Mm-hmm. And another thing, one thing I think that holds the black community back is I don't think black people should pray to a white Jesus.
I don't either.
But, like if I go in a household and I see a black Jesus in a black household, I'll give you 2 thumbs up. Yeah. Even though I don't believe in Jesus.
I think what you mean.
But when I go and see the white Jesus, I think that's something that, we know where it stems from. Yeah. And it's still a problem where, like, why are you praying to a white Jesus?
Yes. But you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
And even we know, like, if Jesus was from this area that you say he was from,
he's not Caucasian.
He's not Caucasian.
Yeah. But see, he was turned Caucasian after the Council of Nicaea, and that's why all those paintings and everything.
Which is a bunch of old white farts
evil pedophile
arguing over what's going to go in the Bible. Yeah. In which I know my history on this. Constantine, who was a pagan, mainstream, forced basically all of Rome to under one, because there was a war between the Christians and the pagans, and that's just political purposes. Yeah. That's all it was. It was political.
But when it coming from that, coming from that until, you know what I'm saying, the history of our presence in this country, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Because I remember my grandma used to tell me this all the time growing up, you know what I'm saying? All she saw when she went to churches, you know what I'm saying, was a picture of white Jesus. So they were set to believe for a long time that Jesus was white because that's all they got to see. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Every other religion, their Messiah, their God looks like them. The Buddha looks like them. You know what I'm saying? Islam, Muhammad looks like them. Christianity was the only religion that forced on the majority of people that Jesus looked like this. Now, we live in a time where as we got older, we learned the truth about what they did. Like I remember, Generation 4 didn't know the game. I think a lot of stuff comes from we're the generation that finally gets to find out that everything that generations before that they tried to teach on us was bullshit fed to them that they didn't know was bullshit. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So,
because I'm a Sumerian guy.
Yeah. You a good Samaritan?
No, Sumerians.
Oh, you Sumerian?
No, I'm saying I like their views. Like I would believe more than that. Like I think we're so disconnected on what the creator is. I don't even like the term God. I like the term creator.
Fact.
And I think we're just so disconnected because Sumerians, like the only reason Christianity is popular is because it's the first book that they sold and printed, like mass.
Yeah.
You know, and so any book that's going to be the first mass-produced book
is going to seem like the gospel to anybody.
Yeah, it's going to be just super popular. I mean, the first of everything is always popular. Anything else you want to say? Any projects or anything you got coming up?
My bros, they're about to be on this movie and this web. We're gonna be the web series,
and we're gonna do another interview. We'll have you guys come on.
For sure. I already told my bros. I said, you know what I'm saying. I couldn't wait for this. I said, I think we found someone who can get us.
We'll figure out the setup, but we'll definitely have them come in. Like, even if I had to do it Vlad TV style, where I'm just over here, you don't see me. You know what I'm saying? Which I don't typically like his style, but. You know, it's fine because it's all about the dialogue.
Yeah, I don't really rock with Vlad for the. You know what I'm saying? I just don't.
A lot of people don't rock with Vlad.
I don't like culture vultures. Like I really, if nothing else, if you're a culture vulture in my eyes, I agree with you because Vlad always tries to cling on this. Like he acts like he's the gateway to all old school interviews and old school hip hop. Yeah. When right now, I would say Math Hoffa is. Oh yeah, Math Hoffa got the best podcast game in the game right now. Like my expert opinion. It done went past Drake.
Probably for hip hop. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Now he ain't the best podcaster.
Well, you know what I meant for hip hop.
But for hip hop,
Like, you know what I mean?
You know, Joe Rogan still, I don't know. It's gonna be a while before Joe Rogan gets knocked out the box.
I mean, Joe Budden had him for a minute.
No, he never had Joe Rogan.
Never had Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan is bigger than Fox News. Joe Rogan is Joe Rogan is bigger than any mainstream media outlet by himself.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I'll
keep it real. I kind of walked away from that.
Joe Rogan is bigger than any mainstream. Like Tucker Carlson is the number one watched mainstream media guy. Mm-hmm. Tucker Carlson ain't nowhere near Joe Rogan. And then you got to look at a cat like Mr. Beast, who's from North Carolina, is actually the biggest YouTuber on the planet.
So who?
Mr. Beast. He's from North Carolina.
Oh shit.
He's the biggest YouTuber on the planet. He's the guy that redid his own. He did his own version of the Asian movie where they had all that money. The Squid Game. He did his own Squid Game. His Squid Game version got more views than the original.
Oh shit! Damn.
Yeah, he's like a one-man lottery. He just gives away like 10,000 here, 20,000 there. Okay. Shouts out to Mr. Beast, North Carolina, man. Stand up.
Shout out Mr. Beast. I gotta get out my regular hip hop.
Yeah, look up Mr. Beast, man. He actually owns a burger joint called Beast Burgers too. I think they got one here in Fayetteville. Or Mr. Beast Burger or Beast Burger, something like that.
It might be. I think I might have.
But he's like a one-man lottery. He just gives away a shit ton of money and gets it right back in his views.
Oh shit!
Like he might have somebody like he'll throw $100,000 in a ocean, and there's a bunch of sharks swimming around, and you just got to go in and get the 100,000 with the sharks swimming around. Oh shit! Would you do that?
Fuck no.
I would. Shaq swam with the sharks. If anything Shaq could do,
you could do.
Yeah,
I'm about to jump.
Shaq did it. Once I see Shaq on Shark Week, that's when I know this is some stereotype bullshit. Like the black man can't swim with the sharks.
Facts, man. Shout out to Shaq.
Yeah.
Even though he was wrong.
And even Will did it. Will was in with the sharks.
Facts.
Yeah, man. It's everybody got to try to conquer their own fears at some point, I think.
Oh yeah, I'm working on my own personal life. I'm working on.
I'm still trying to conquer some fears. I got hit by the car and I started getting like fearless, and I started realizing like. You know, I can't just stop there. You know, I want to actually parachute one day and, you know, some other good things. I ain't doing no mountain climb, though. But, yeah. Anything else you want to get out?
No, I'm good, man.
All right,
one thing, support real hip hop. And I say this at every podcast, you know what I'm saying? For those of us entrenched in the culture, love, honor, and respect this culture, and do not allow an outsider of the culture. Regardless of shade, regardless of background, if he's an outsider to our culture, do not allow them to come in our culture and dictate to us, the creators and lovers of the culture, what's allowed and what's not allowed in culture.
And let's find a way to unify nowadays. Like we gotta, it's no unity.
Oh yeah, we're gonna chop up on that too off camera.
Once again, I'll thank y'all too. Paul Pickett Podcast. We're about to end it with a song from DWalk. Here we go.
I am part of a special breed of performers.
Yeah.
A breed of performers that were given nothing and took everything. And yeah, I developed a chip on my shoulder because of it. And now, punk, you're just like me. You're a maverick, a rebel that went against the grain.
Put shit simply, you can't spit with me. Opinions mean shit to me. Sit back and watch the victory. Came a long way from local niggas bullshitting me. Now I sit in my lab, turn Picasso up to Piffery. See mine 16 bars, sometimes avant-garde. Some rhyme sharp and swords, Hanzo metaphors. Since 14 been raw, denied my applause. Sidelined off my course, betrayed, no remorse. Been through us before, the coach is in my soul. No matter how she do me, just can't seem to let her go. I take it personal, you ain't gotta ace my arsenal. Because you make the radio, I'm supposed to fucking honor you. I'm wrecking edge you out like them coppers did Amadou. Slaughter you, Drew make the coppers squatter you. To do what I gotta do, take shit in blood and put my life in the line, cause hip hop's what I love. Even on a cloudy day, I'm gon' shine. I'm gon' shine, baby, I'm gon' shine. Grab my pen, a pad, or a phone, jot what's on my mind. Go it down in my book of rhymes. We going to turntables, a mic, dope beats and some rhymes. That's the recipe, it'll always be the recipe. DWalk85, now it's on time. Fuck niggas, sit back and watch your destiny. We flossin', it's all sin. We flossin', in Boston, take caution. We flossin', it's all sin. We bossin', we flossin', take caution. We flossin', it's all sin. We flossin', we bossin', take caution. We flossin', it's all sin. We bossin', we flossin', take caution.
Do you look at me and you see a guy that emerged from the same shadows you did? He came from the same places you did. He overcame the same obstacles you did. But now he surpassed everything that you did, didn't he? Because sure, you beat legends, but you were never really the man like how I'm the man, were you?
Quarter pants, bustin' swat, when the ring, baby, stop. I can never cut the thought, I can never trust these hoes. All my changes really go, and I'm still laying low. Put that thing in the throat, Rap Simmons, that's a code. And I got that antidote, got that green, got that dope. Baby, what you asking for? Drop that ass to the floor, little shorty on go. I was jugging from the stove, riding around with the pole. And I ride around your hood with the Nina, bad little bitch. With me, she a eater, I can charge some 10K for a feature. Bitch, I'm ballin' on the court, you in the bleachers. I ain't got no soul, but I still got hoes, and I still smoke dro. S curl in the fro, do anything for that dope. DWalk got that scope, GME got the snow. You don't want no smoke, pussy nigga look broke. Off the Henny, I'm hope, I'm the guy, you the pope.
Even on a cloudy day, I'm gon' shine.
Bling bling,
Grab my pen, a pad, or a phone, jot what's on my mind.
what's on my mind?
Two turntables, a mic, dope beats and some rhymes.
So we too, nigga, don't forget that.
GME and DWAC, now it's our time.
It's our time, it's our time, it's our time, yeah.
We flossin', it's all sin. We flossin', in Boston, take caution. We flossin', it's all sin. We bossin', we flossin', take caution. We flossin', it's all sin. We flossin', we bossin', take caution. We flossin', it's all sin. We bossin', we flossin', take caution.
This is nothing I chose. I was born this way. This is who I am. This is what I do. And all the while, I'm here on top, swimming with sharks, while you're dancing with stars.